Chapter 32-38. The three escaping half-saints were pierced through by the three demonic swords and nailed to the ground. Then the great demon grabbed their souls and swallowed them. Plop, plop. The remaining half-saints knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. It was too terrifying. He was simply a demon king. He was a heaven-defying existence. Killing half-saints like them was as easy as blowing off dust. I can give you a chance to live as long as you tell me. Where is Lin Wuti? After swallowing the souls of the three half-saints, the great demon said indifferently. We don't know where Lin Wuti is, but we know people related to Lin Wuti. One of the half-step saints answered. The Qi family's patriarch had a good relationship with Lin Wuti. He was currently in the abyss below, participating in a trial. In addition, the White Crane clan and the emperor's successor Yan Nantian had a conflict with Lin Xian. We don't know anything else. One of them was down there, participating in a trial? The great demon glanced at the abyss below. Then a cold light flashed in his eyes. Yan Nantian? He snorted coldly. The White Crane clan. He looked up at the sky. The boundless demonic clouds were expanding rapidly. They rushed in all directions. The next moment, a smile appeared on his face. They were still on the fallen star. After finding the whereabouts of the White Crane clan, the great demon sneered coldly. Demon swallows the world. The demonic blood in his body surged into the sky, turning into several demons that bit in all directions. Damn it, you went back on your word. You said you would let us go. The surrounding half-saints screamed crazily. You are not qualified to negotiate with me. The great demon sneered. I just woke up and am very weak. I still need to recover. So you will become my food. The boundless demonic aura swallowed the half-saints. The half-saints screamed miserably. It was too terrifying. The great demon was too powerful. The half-saints tried their best to resist, but there was nothing they could do. In a single move they were all killed. His soul had been devoured by the great demonic god, and even his flesh and blood had been sucked dry. Bloody light circled around the great demon's body as the demonic aura around him grew even more monstrous. With a stomp of his foot, he tore through the void and charged towards the people of the White Crane tribe. The people of the White Crane clan had indeed not left the falling star. They were still here because they wanted to join forces with some experts to kill Lin Xian. There was no other way. They had already become enemies with Lin Xian, and Lin Xian was so powerful. More importantly, the other party's talent was too terrifying. The other party was so young, yet he had already reached the top of the rankings. If he was allowed to continue growing, his future would be limitless. At that time, if the other party remembered their White Crane clan would probably be annihilated. They would not allow such a danger to exist. Therefore, the White Crane clan decided to take action in advance. Although the other party was now powerful and ranked first on the rankings, he was not an invincible existence. Although it was troublesome to kill such a person, it was still doable. Originally, they wanted to contact Yan Nantian, but Yan Nantian had already left, and they could not contact him at all. Therefore, they used the teleportation formation to directly summon the half-saints of the clan and bring their magical treasures to assassinate the other party. Bus. The void shattered and countless Dao patterns spread out. Two figures walked out of the formation. The aura of these two people was extremely powerful. Among the half-saints, they were also extremely terrifying existences. The surrounding Dao patterns slowly dissipated, and the people of the White Crane clan heaved a sigh of relief. This kind of teleportation formation that could cross worlds was the means of saints. It was carved with Dao patterns, and every time it was activated, it would consume a large amount of resources. Even though the White Crane clan was powerful, it was still very painful for them. However, in order to kill Lin Xian, they could not care less. Two guardians, you are finally here. Seeing the two powerful half-saints, the people of the White Crane clan were extremely excited. Yes. The two guardians of the White Crane clan nodded slightly. They had already heard about the general situation, so this time they were here to kill. Their bodies were filled with biting cold killing intent. However, in the next moment, the two guardians frowned and looked up at the sky, their expressions extremely solemn. This aura. They were really too shocked. The other White Crane clan geniuses and half-saints also felt it. Immediately they screamed. Damn it, what a terrifying aura. Could it be that Lin Wuti had come to kill them? Damn it, let's fight to the death with him. This kid really doesn't know what's good for him. There was no door to hell, but he barged in. Since that's the case, then don't blame us for being ruthless. These people of the White Crane clan revealed sinister smiles, but in the next moment they were stunned. They realized that it was not Lin Wuti. They had seen Lin Wuti's law divine ability before. It was a biting cold sword intent in terrifying flames. However, the scene in front of them was not. Demonic aura, monstrous demonic aura, rolled over and instantly enveloped the world. They felt that the pressure between heaven and earth was about to crush them. It was not Lin Wuti but someone else? These people immediately frowned. Who is it? Who actually dares to attack our White Crane clan? Get out here. You really don't know what's good for you. We have 2 guardians. No matter who comes, we can kill them. The White Crane clan's genius sneered. At this moment, the left guardian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. He reached out with a huge pale hand and grabbed at the void with feathers that filled the sky. In an instant he smashed a huge hole in the void. Found you. The huge white hand carried the power of laws and could crush everything. Even if it was a half-saint, he was confident that he could seriously injure or even kill him. However, in the next moment, the left guardian of the White Crane clan screamed. His arm was broken and blood dripped from the half-saint. White feathers drifted down from the sky. Damn it. The left guardian gritted his teeth and used all his strength to stop his wound. His eyes were wide open as he stared at the black hole in the sky. Damn it, who exactly are you? The other White Crane clan's geniuses and experts were also stunned. Heavens, what did they see? The left guardian was actually injured. The left guardian was so powerful that there were very few half-saints who were a match for him. Even Lin Wuti would not be able to defeat their left guardian. But now, the left guardian was actually injured. It was obvious that there was a terrifying enemy in the black hole. In the sky, the black hole rotated and the void shattered. A pitch-black figure walked out. It was the Great Demon. He looked down with a smirk. The White Crane clan? Seeing the Great Demon's figure, these people were on guard. The pupils of the 2 guardians constricted. What a terrifying demonic aura. The other party's aura almost made their blood freeze. Who are you? The 2 guardians asked coldly. Chapter 32-39. Upon hearing the name Lin Wuti, the people of the White Crane race were stunned. The other party was also here for Lin Wuti? What's your relationship with Lin Wuti? The paragon of the White Crane race shouted coldly. They were naturally here to kill him. The Great Fiend's murderous aura was torrential. That was great. The people of the White Crane race were overjoyed. Lin Wuti, you truly deserve to die. To think that we're not the only ones who want to kill you, there's also such a strong person who wants to kill you. Let's see how you escape this time round. The people of the White Crane race were too excited. That's great. We're also here to kill Lin Wuti. Why don't we join forces? An elder of the White Crane race stood out. In his opinion, they could definitely kill the other party easily if they joined forces. Join forces with you guys? The Great Fiend revealed a look of disdain in his eyes. I'm afraid you guys aren't qualified yet. Tell me where Lin Wuti is and I'll give you guys a quick death. Arrogant. The other party was way too arrogant. The other party wanted to get information from them and even wanted to kill them all. This was simply too much. They were overestimating themselves. The right protector harumphed coldly and stood out. The left protector attacked as well. The auras of the 2 of them suddenly burst forth and the law fragments turned into tornadoes that swept forward. Behind them, the paragon of the White Crane race sneered. With the 2 protectors attacking, the other party was definitely dead. Previously, the left protector was injured because of carelessness. Now that they attacked with their full strength, the other party would definitely not be able to block it. How strong were the 2 protectors? With a punch, they lit up the sky and pierced through the void, shattering the surrounding fiend chi. Since you guys are courting death, I'll fulfill your wishes. The Great Fiend laughed sinisterly. His black hair fluttered and the fiend chi on his body was like a dragon. You guys dare to attack me with just the 2 of you? With a long roar, the entire place broke apart completely. Terrifying fiend chi was everywhere as though it was the end of the world. The void within 1,000,000 miles shattered. Poof. The 2 protectors spat out blood and were sent flying. The broken laws on their bodies dimmed and their eyes were filled with fear. Too strong. The other party was truly too strong. A single move injured the 2 of them. Just who is this person? Damn it. Let's attack together. Summoning the ancestors? The left and right protectors roared angrily. Their bodies reassembled and rushed into the sky. When the prodigy of the White Crane race heard this, he quickly activated the power of his bloodline. These people were moving freely in the sky. Their palms were constantly forming seals, and their expressions were extremely pious. Ancestors' remnant souls slumbering in the void, please awaken. The bloodline light on their bodies towered into the sky. Above their heads, a terrifying crack appeared. An illusory figure arrived through time and space. That was a white crane. It was too massive, most of it unimaginable. Just a bit of its claw was enough to shatter the void within a million li. The surrounding demonic chi was suppressed once again. The great demon raised his head and looked at the phantom in the sky. He narrowed his eyes. A mere remnant soul dared to be arrogant in front of him? Just nice, I'll swallow you alive and recover my strength. The great devil was filled with a devilish aura. He reared his head back and laughed uproariously. After that, his body expanded abruptly, becoming over 1,000,000 feet tall. He stood tall and straight into the clouds, making it impossible for others to see how big he was. In the next moment he bent down, opened his bloody mouth and directly bit at the remnant soul. This scene was too terrifying. The void within 1,000,000 li was swallowed by him in one bite. Damn it, who exactly is this person? The prodigies of the white crane race were all dumbfounded. The younger cultivators were so scared that they wet their pants. Even the experts of the older generation were stunned. The left and right protectors were also terrified. Could it be that he is? They thought of a terrifying existence in their hearts. But that shouldn't be the case. Hadn't that existence disappeared in history? Why would he appear here? In the next moment the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Dark gales blew in all directions, and these people were all sent flying while vomiting blood. The remnant soul of the ancestor above them was swallowed in one bite. The left and right protectors vomited blood. The bodies of the people around them collapsed, and they looked dispirited. The remnant soul of the ancestor that they summoned was actually eaten by the other party. This was simply like a fantasy story. Stop. Don't hit him anymore. I'll tell you where that kid is. The left and right protectors screamed. This was a ferocious person, someone that they couldn't afford to offend. Do I need you to tell me what I want to know? I'll go get it myself. In the sky, the great demon's voice was heard. Then he raised his foot and stomped down. This stomp was like 1,000,000 demonic mountains, and it directly crushed the bodies of the half-saints. Even the left and right protectors couldn't resist it. Their souls escaped, wanting to escape, but they were all caught by the great demon and swallowed. Soon, the great demon's body gradually shrank, and he returned to the appearance of a normal person. His eyes shone with cold light. Spiritual movement pavilion? His body shook and he flew into the distance. As soon as he landed in the city, he heard people on the streets talking about the battle between Lin Wudi and the Protector. Fallen Country Prince Emoli, the Protector. It seemed that he had already left. The great demon didn't stay in Spiritual Movement Pavilion, but turned to look for Prince Emoli. He used his great technique and instantly locked onto Prince Emoli. The group tore through the void again. On the other side, Prince Emoli and the others were pale. They were still in shock from before. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so strong that even their protector was no match for him. The Dao protector Elder Huiyu also sighed. He usually hid in the void and followed them silently. At this moment, his old face was filled with pain. He couldn't help it. He had lost his supreme treasure, the Sun Dao Stone, to Lin Xian. And he almost died in Lin Xian's hands. He hoped that he would never meet Lin Xian again in this life. Suddenly, Elder Huiyu's eyes shone with cold light. He revealed himself and looked into the distance. Who was it? Come out. With a roar, he shattered the void there. Prince Emoli and the others also stopped, bewildered. Elder, what's going on? Especially Prince Emoli, who was panicking. Could it be that Lin Wudi had come? He was most afraid of Lin Xian now. If Lin Xian came, there was no way to stop him. The surrounding experts were also on guard. But they said, "Don't worry, Prince, we're already at the border of the fallen country. Soon we'll enter the fallen country and we'll be safe." You're the protector? Lin Wudi fought with you before, didn't he? A cold voice floated from the sky. Kneel down and accept your death. I can give you a quick death. A large hand grabbed at Elder Huiyu. You're courting death. Elder Huiyu punched out. His fist carried the power of laws, and it hit the black hand with a deafening sound. A large crack tore out, and Elder Huiyu's fist and half of his arm were completely shattered. Chapter 3240. Not to mention the other party's fist, the other party's body would have been torn apart by his attack. But this time the other party only lost an arm. He was indeed strong. No wonder he could compete with Lin Wudi. Who are you? Elder Huiyu was shocked. The other party's punch had easily injured him. It was too terrifying. Previously he thought it was Lin Wudi who had come. But now it was not him. Who am I? You don't need to know. You only need to know that it's time for you to go to hell. The great demon roared. Demonic chi rushed out of his body and enveloped Elder Huiyu, Prince Emoli, and the rest. Not good. Prince, run. Quickly enter the fallen country. Elder Huiyu roared and his aura exploded. Under the protection of a group of people, Prince Emoli turned into a stream of light and tore through the void, trying to escape. You want to leave? Do you think you can? Demon swallows the world. The great demon roared and his demonic chi overflowed. Instantly everyone was swallowed. Miserable screams were heard. After a gust of wind, everyone was swallowed by the great demon. Elder Huiyu's body was torn apart and his soul was captured by the great demon. The great demon kept his soul and his eyes shone. Sundao Stone? He did not expect such a thing to exist. He waved his hand and shot out 3 streams of demonic chi, piercing through Elder Huiyu's soul. Then he formed a seal with his palm. Heaven and earth reincarnated and thousands of demons searched for the spirit. Elder Huiyu had come into contact with the Sundao Stone. Now it was in Lin Xian's hands. It could be said that there was a connection between the two. Therefore, the great demon wanted to use Elder Huiyu as a sacrifice to perform a peerless divine ability to search. Elder Huiyu screamed. His soul was sucked dry and his energy, flesh and blood exploded. He turned into a blood mist and was absorbed by the peerless divine ability. In the next moment, the great demon's eyes shone. In front of him, Elder Huiyu's soul and flesh had turned into a star map of the universe. On it there was a light spot that was moving. Seeing this, the great demon's lips curled into a smile. I finally found you. You can't run away. Bus. He soared into the sky and disappeared without a trace. On the other side, Lin Xian, the Crimson Divine Dragon, and the rest were on their way. They were riding on a spirit ship as they flew rapidly through the universe. Lin Xian and the Dark Red Divine Dragon sat cross-legged and cultivated. He too was in charge of flying. Since he had the space coordinates, he only needed to fly for a short period of time to reach the Langya star. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. On this day, He too sent news that Lin Xian and the Dark Red Divine Dragon had opened their eyes. Were they finally arriving at the Langya star? They stood up and checked the situation outside. In the distance, there was a blue star emitting a mysterious aura. Even Lin Xian's heavenly fortune god eyes could not see through it. What a mysterious world of stars. Indeed, there were many spirit boats parked around the blue star. Each of them was floating there. There were even spirit vessels flying over from time to time. Clearly they were all here to inquire about matters. The arrival of Lin Xian and the rest did not attract the attention of others. After all, there were too many spirit boats here. Lin Xian and the Dark Red Divine Dragon looked around curiously. Suddenly, a cold shout came from afar. Scram! Immediately after, a huge light beam blasted towards them. Lin Xian felt the spirit boat shake as it was attacked. His face darkened. Bus. In the next moment he appeared outside the spirit boat and looked around coldly. Soon he locked onto a spirit boat on the left. Were you the ones who attacked just now? He asked coldly. Kid Scram. Don't you know there's a queue here? A cold voice came from the spirit boat. The spirit boat was very large and its shape was very strange. It was in the shape of a giant silver wolf and it was hovering in the void. The surrounding people sneered when they saw this scene. This kid is courting death. He actually offended the Terminus Lone Wolf clan. He was lucky that he was near the Langya star. If he was outside he would have been killed long ago. Moreover, his mind and soul would be destroyed. Lin Xian frowned when he heard the surrounding people's discussion. The Terminus Lone Wolf clan? Beside him, the Dark Red Divine Dragon also flashed out. I've heard that this is also a powerful clan. It's said that they're a mutated species that has been passed down since ancient times. They're very powerful and are very powerful in the universe. Kid, you're very lucky to be here. If you weren't here, you would have died 100 times in that instant. A cold voice came from the spirit boat in front. At the same time, a silver spirit boat flew over from afar. At the same time, a scream came from inside. Sixth uncle, I'm here. At the sight of this, the experts in the surrounding spirit boats began to discuss among themselves. It seemed to be someone from the Terminus Lone Wolf clan. He seemed to be from the younger generation. The voice in the silver wolf spirit boat in front was elated. You're here? He looked at Lin Xian again. Scram and give up your position. I can spare your life. Lin Xian's face darkened. He came here and was attacked before he could say anything. Now they were threatening him. Did they really think that he was a pushover? He said coldly, aren't you going too far? Going too far? Ha, you've offended the Terminus Lone Wolf clan. You've committed a capital offense. Besides, so what if I've gone too far? I can kill you. In the universe, strength and fists are the most important thing. A piece of trash like you is only worthy of crawling at our feet. Oh, is that so? Strength and fists are the most important thing here. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Fine, I'll let you have a taste of strength and fists. At this point he turned around and a cold light burst out from his eyes. At the same time the silver spirit boat behind rushed over, and 3 young men walked out from it. They were very arrogant. Get lost. They shouted coldly at Lin Xian. A gnomological sword appeared in Lin Xian's hand, carrying a golden light and a dragon-shaped aura. He slashed down and directly enveloped the 3 young men who rushed over. You're courting death. How dare you attack us? The 3 paragons who rushed over were stunned. In the next moment they roared angrily and burst out with intense light. The 3 of them quickly counterattacked and terrifying gnomological runes soared into the sky. However, that sword was too powerful. In an instant the 3 paragons' great abilities were destroyed. Not only that, but their bodies were also sliced into pieces. Miserable screams were heard. That scene happened too suddenly, so much so that the surrounding people did not react in time. They only came back to their senses now. What? Their bodies trembled and their faces were filled with fear. Oh heavens, who is this kid? How dare he attack the Terminus Lone Wolf clan? Chapter 32:41. You're courting death. In front of them, angry roars could be heard from the giant silver wolf spirit vessel. Someone dared to attack their people. It was an unforgivable crime. A terrifying aura surged out. Silver law fragments danced in the air, forming a giant silver wolf that charged towards Lin Xian. Sensing the other party's attack, Lin Xian sneered coldly and dodged. Then he waved his hand and countless law fragments formed a palm, grabbing the 3 souls. At the same time he shouted, "Let's see who dares to attack me." His voice was like 1,000 claps of thunder, resounding in all directions. Everyone was stunned. The 3 sky prides of the Heavenly Slaughter Lone Wolf clan screamed crazily as their souls were captured. "Sixth uncle, save me. Sixth uncle, kill him. He must kill him." Bus. In front of them, a figure appeared in the giant silver wolf spirit vessel. It was a middle-aged man with a slender figure and a cold face. There were silver wolf stripes on both sides of his face. His eyes had also turned a strange green color. At this moment, those dark green eyes were emitting a terrifying light as he stared fixedly at Lin Xian. "Kid, I advise you to let go. Otherwise, I'll make you wish you were dead." The others were also stunned. This kid dared to threaten the Heavenly Slaughter Lone Wolf clan. He was really courting death. "Kid, did you hear that? Hurry up and let us go, then kneel and kowtow. If we're in a good mood we might give you a quick death. Otherwise, we'll make you wish you were dead." The 3 souls also roared like they had gone mad. "How dare you threaten me now?" Lin Xian snorted. He raised his finger and instantly destroyed one of the souls. Bang! The soul let out a shriek and vanished into thin air. "What? You actually killed him?" The surrounding people went crazy. The other 2 souls almost fainted. They no longer dared to be arrogant. The other party really dared to kill them. In front of them, the man called Sixth Uncle's pupils shrank. His green eyes were filled with shock. Killed, the other party actually attacked. How dare the other party attack? Did the other party not know the consequences of offending the Heavenly Slaughter Lone Wolf clan? "Damn kid, let him go." The man who was addressed as Sixth Uncle said coldly. He didn't dare to make a move now because there were still 2 souls in the other party's hands. Lin Xian sneered, "You can let him go. Kneel down, kowtow, admit your mistake, slap yourself and then give me your position. I can consider sparing their lives." "What did you say?" The man in front let out a furious roar as his aura erupted. A silver-white heavenly wolf phantom appeared behind him, emitting a monstrous aura. He was truly enraged. The other party actually dared to raise such a condition. He truly deserved to die 10,000 times over. The experts in the surrounding spirit boats felt their bodies turn cold and their scalps go numb. The scene in front of them had truly stunned them. "Since that's the case, you can go die." The man who was addressed as Sixth Uncle snorted coldly. He made his move. A palm stretched out, transforming into the silvery white claw of a lone wolf. It covered the sky and covered the earth like a mountain descending from the sky. The aura on it was simply too terrifying. When the surrounding experts felt this aura, they felt as though they were about to faint. The dark red divine dragon also frowned. Lin Xian's eyes also burst with a piercing cold light. He stretched out a palm, carrying monstrous flames, and charged forward. The palm strike was earth-shattering and the surrounding void quickly shattered. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 large hands collided in the sky, and terrifying energy roared in all directions. However, at this moment the man opposite them made his move again. A silver-white fist blasted over, carrying with it nomological fragments and the heavenly wolf phantom. It was extremely terrifying. This punch was too terrifying. Many people screamed in fear. Heaven ferocious fist. It seemed that the other party was really angry. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He grabbed one of the souls and threw it forward. No. That soul screamed and wanted to escape, but how could it escape Lin Xian's palm? In the next moment, the soul was blasted into pieces by the heaven ferocious fist. What a powerful fist. Lin Xian retreated to the side and sneered. He didn't show any mercy to his own people. Damn it. The man called Sixth Uncle was so angry that his entire body trembled. One of the souls was destroyed. This made his murderous aura surge. Kid, it seems that you really don't know what's good for you. The other party took a step forward and a terrifying roar sounded. The heaven ferocious lone wolf phantom behind him became more and more solid, as if it was going to cross time and space. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Lin Xian sneered. He was now powerful and his nomological laws were terrifying. Why would he be afraid of the other party? The surrounding spirit ships all retreated. They could tell that the two of them were powerhouses. The youth in front of them was not simple either. Therefore, the battle between the two would definitely be earth-shattering. Seeing that the atmosphere was getting colder and colder, and that the battle was about to erupt, a cold shout was heard. Who dared to make a move on the Langya Star? Could it be that they had forgotten the rules? As soon as this was said, many people heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that a battle would not happen. Sure enough, the man from the heaven ferocious lone wolf clan retracted his aura, and the heavenly wolf phantom also returned to his body. Lin Xian also turned his head to look. Two figures flew up from afar. Their feet were stepping on lotus flowers and countless runes enveloped them. The two of them were not old, about 18 or 19 years old. The man was handsome and the woman was beautiful, like a pair of immortal children. Each of them held an ancient hexagonal lantern. The clothes they wore were also very ancient and runes covered them. These two people should be from the Langya Star. Lin Xian also retracted his aura that filled the sky. He instantly formed a few seals and put away the last soul. Seeing this scene, the heaven ferocious lone wolf clan gnashed their teeth in anger. The man called Sixth Uncle also had a sullen expression. He ignored Lin Xian and said to the two immortal children of the Langya Star. Greetings to the two immortal children. It's not that I want to break the rules, but someone really doesn't know what's good for him and dares to challenge my heaven ferocious lone wolf group. I had no choice but to make a move. Speaking of this, he looked at Lin Xian. The immortal children in front also turned their heads to stare at Lin Xian, and then asked coldly, "This happened because of you? There's a reason for this. If someone didn't go too far, why would I make a move?" Lin Xian said coldly. Hearing this, the beautiful woman nodded. "I've heard about the insolence of the heaven ferocious lone wolf clan. I think you have a reason for this. I'll let it go this time. Remember the rules of the Langya Star. You're not allowed to fight here. Alright, you can go in now," the immortal child and jade maiden said softly. In the next moment, the runes on their bodies spread out, and the surrounding spirit boats all trembled and entered the Langya Star. "Thank you." Lin Xian cupped his fists. Then he and the dark red divine dragon also entered the spirit boat, started the spirit boat and flew forward. On the other side, the heaven ferocious lone wolf clan's faces were gloomy. Damn it, they actually let the other party in. Although they were very angry, they did not dare to vent their anger on the Langya Star. Therefore they could only vent all their anger on Lin Xian. Chapter 3242. Lin Xian finally arrived at the Langya Star. After entering, they looked down through the spirit boat. The entire Langya Star was divided into countless regions. In each region, there were immortal children and jade maidens who came to receive them. Everyone first said what type of treasure they wanted, and then they were assigned to different regions. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon walked out and put away the spirit boat. At the same time, many figures descended near them. One of them was a man in purple, and even his hair was purple. His body was surrounded by purple light, and he looked mighty and extraordinary. His gaze was as cold as a knife. His gaze swept across the crowd, causing many people to tremble slightly. Many of the surrounding experts' pupils shrank. It was him. Ziyu Hao. He was a top genius and ranked 10th on the Abyss list. His strength could be said to be very terrifying, and even the veteran half-sages did not dare to be enemies with him. Ziyu Hao's appearance attracted the attention of countless people, and they whispered to each other. At this moment, a handsome young man also appeared in front of him. He looked at the purple-robed figure in front of him and smiled. Brother Yuhao, I didn't expect to see you again so soon. I wonder what Brother Yuhao is trying to ask? Lin Fan thought. Octopus treasure snake. Zi Yuhao said coldly. As soon as he said that, the surrounding people exclaimed. Many of them had never heard of this name at all. However, some of the veteran half-sages' pupils shrank. Could it be that kind of thing? In front, the handsome young man also stopped smiling. Brother Yuhao, please. He invited the purple-robed man away. Soon it was Lin Xian's turn. A pair of immortal children asked, wondering what this young master wanted to ask. It was a kind of treasure that belonged to the crystal type. It was more precious and could be said to be very rare. Lin Xian did not directly say that it was a stone, because that would be too obvious a target, and he was afraid that he would be targeted by many people. In front of him. The immortal children nodded, then took out a token and said to Lin Xian, "Go to the 12th region." Lin Xian took the token and flew forward. This was because when he landed from the sky, he saw that the entire Langistar was divided into many regions. He knew which direction these 12 zones were in. He thought that after he arrived there would be someone waiting for him. After receiving the tokens, the two of them directly sat on the teleportation array. The array flickered. When he reappeared, he was already in the 12th district. In front of the 12th district there was also a beautiful woman who asked, "I wonder what young master is asking about." They were similar to crystals. The 8th palace. The beautiful woman said in a sweet voice. Lin Xian once again headed towards the 8th palace. There were still 3 people in front of him, so Lin Xian waited for a while. When it was his turn, Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked in. The main hall was very spacious, and it was also very simple and unadorned. The surroundings were densely packed with symbols. Clearly, if anyone dared to cause trouble here, they would be suppressed in an instant. After Lin Xian entered, the doors to the 8th hall closed. Following that, a voice rang out. "What does young master want to ask?" There was no one else around. Lin Xian had asked He Tu before, so he could tell him his purpose here. Therefore, Lin Xian took a deep breath and said in a clear voice, "I want to ask about the whereabouts of the Dao Stone." Dao Stone? This time it was the people of the 8th hall who were stunned. They did not expect Lin Xian to ask about such a precious thing. However, as people of the Langistar, they had seen all kinds of problems. Therefore, although they were surprised, they quickly calmed down. Bus. The array in front of them flickered and a middle-aged woman walked out. She was wearing a long robe and had a dignified face. As soon as she appeared, she quickly asked, "Young master, what attribute do you want?" "I want more than 1 Dao stone." "How much information can you provide?" Lin Xian asked. One had to know that he needed 4 Dao stones and 1 origin magnetic stone. If possible, he hoped to ask them all at once. However, the dignified woman in front of him said, "Young master, you can only ask one thing at a time. This is the rule of the Langistar." Lin Xian nodded and said, "What attribute?" The woman in red's eyes flickered. "Yes, our Langistar has information about what attribute Dao stones. However, the cost." Dao stones were more precious, so the cost was also incomparably precious. A complete sacred artifact or 30 million caddies of divine crystals. Or help us do one thing. Hearing this price, Lin Xian took a deep breath and his expression changed. Wasn't this too expensive? One had to know that he didn't even have a true sacred artifact in his hands. He only had a few half-step sacred artifacts. There were also fragments of sacred artifacts. However, these couldn't be compared to a true sacred artifact. Moreover, 30 million caddies of divine crystals was such a huge amount of wealth. Moreover, the Langistar didn't give him a Dao stone, but only a piece of information. Whether he could obtain it or not was 2 different things. However, just a piece of information was sold at such a high price. It had to be said that it really shocked Lin Xian. Heavens, this Langistar was so rich. Previously, when he heard He Tu say that he didn't have much of a sense. Now that he directly felt it, he was extremely shocked. Moreover, he knew that the Langistar was not only rich but also extremely powerful. Otherwise, it would have been snatched away long ago. Not to mention other things, there were many saints in the various worlds. Any one of them would probably be able to snatch it away. But now the Langistar was doing fine. No one dared to come here and cause trouble. This meant that there was an extremely powerful existence on the Langistar. Lin Xian didn't have a sacred artifact, but he could take out 30 million caddies of divine crystals. All these years he couldn't kill strong enemies, but he had collected countless resources. He could take it out. However, this was already very close to his entire fortune. If he took out 30 million caddies of divine crystals, he probably wouldn't have much left. After all, whether it was formations, spirit boats, or cultivation, they all required divine crystals. As for the third condition, help the Langyastar do one thing? The first two conditions were so expensive. This matter probably wouldn't be so easy to complete. Moreover, it was Lin Xian's first time here. He also wanted to see if the Langyastar was as accurate as the rumors said. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian's eyes revealed a hint of determination. I'm prepared to pay 30 million caddies of divine crystals. With a wave of his hand, Lin Xian took out 30 million caddies of divine crystals from the black earth. Those divine crystals appeared in the 8th hall. Fortunately, the 8th hall was incomparably majestic and had countless array formations. There was an unknown amount of space hidden behind it, which was why it could fit them all. In front, the dignified woman's soul swept over and nodded slightly. 30 million caddies, no more, no less. In the next moment, she opened her red lips. There were two pieces of news regarding the Wood Dao stone. The first news was that 1,300 years ago, someone had seen the Wood Dao stone on the Wildwood Star. The second news was that 300 years ago, someone had also seen the Wood Dao stone in the elven forest of the elven planet. Regarding these two pieces of news, the first was that the Wildwood Star was a little far from the Langyastar. It would take about 5 years to fly there with a spirit boat. The second was that the elven planet was closer and would only take about 7 months to reach. However, the elven forest of the elven planet was more dangerous. Chapter 32-43. The two pieces of news were finished in a few short sentences. After Lin Xian heard this, his eyes flickered. He took a deep breath and left the 8th hall. After coming out, he shook his head slightly. These two pieces of news had cost him almost all his wealth. It really made his heart ache. The dark red divine dragon said, "Kid, be content. This is a Dao stone that even saints might not be able to obtain." That's true. Lin Xian nodded. If he had asked for other information, it probably wouldn't have been so expensive. And from the looks of it, this information was from a few hundred years ago. It was hard to say if he would have it there. It seemed that he needed a certain amount of luck. Lin Xian rubbed his face and soared into the sky, leaving the 8th hall. He decided to head to the elven planet and investigate the elven forest. After all, the Wildwood Star was too far away. Who knew what would happen during the 5 years? Of course, the dark red divine dragon also suggested that there should be an array formation between the worlds of stars. If he were to activate that kind of teleportation array, the consumption would be very large. With Lin Xian's current wealth, he probably wouldn't be able to afford it. Soon Lin Xian left the 8th hall and even left Area 12. When he came out and was about to leave, he met the purple-clothed man from before. The purple-clothed man seemed to have sensed Lin Xian's gaze and turned his head. His gaze was like a purple blade that was abnormally sharp, causing the void to tremble. This person is actually able to withstand my gaze. Interesting. Ziyuhao's lips curled into an evil smile. He took a deep look at Lin Xian, then turned and left. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, but he didn't say anything. But he could feel the powerful force and terrifying killing intent in the other party's gaze. It seemed that the other party didn't cultivate any righteous cultivation technique and was related to evil. Outside there were a few spirit boats hidden in the void. An invisible net stretched out and enveloped all the passers-by. It seemed to be searching for something. Suddenly their hearts stirred. Inside the spirit boat, a few men in white exclaimed and came out. Inside their spirit boat, Lin Xian was displayed on the array formation light screen. These people were from the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan. Sixth uncle had not returned yet, so he quickly informed him. Then he would order 2 spirit boats to chase after that brat. He must not let him escape. This time he was going to destroy both his body and soul. The Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf's experts gritted their teeth. Soon they sent a message to inform the experts of the Wolf Fang planet. At the same time, the 2 spirit boats concealed their auras and followed silently from afar. After Lin Xian left the Langyastar, he took out the spirit boat and entered it with the dark red divine dragon. The 2 of them flew quickly and completely disappeared. After flying for about 2 hours, Lin Xian frowned. When he first came out, he felt like he was being watched by someone. Until now, this feeling was getting stronger and stronger. He stopped the spirit boat and turned to look. Activating the heavenly secret divine eyes, golden runes flickered, penetrating through everything. Soon he saw 2 spirit vessels following him silently in the cosmos behind him. At this moment they also stopped there. The array formations of the 2 spirit boats were activated and concealed everything, but they still could not escape the heavenly secret divine eyes. How dare you follow me? You don't know what death is. Lin Xian sneered. He knew without thinking that they must be from the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan. In that case he could only send them to hell. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with a cold light. His figure flashed and he instantly left the spirit boat. In the 2 spirit boats behind, the people of the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan frowned. Why did that brat stop? Could it be that he discovered us? Impossible, we've already activated the array formation. How could he discover us? Perhaps there's something else? Let's wait a little longer. The people in the 2 spirit boats communicated through the array formation. They also stopped and activated the array formation even more brilliantly, hiding it even more deeply. However, in the next moment they were all stunned because they saw a figure rushing out in front of them. Oh no, it's that brat. Could it be that we've been discovered? They panicked. At this moment someone shouted, "So what if we've been discovered? Fire at him." These people hurriedly injected divine crystals into the spirit boats. Runes flickered, forming 2 pillars of light that reached the sky and blasted forward quickly. The 2 pillars of light were like rainbows, carrying an aura that could destroy everything. In an instant they enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian was so powerful that he did not dodge at all in the face of these 2 earth-shattering attacks. He waved his fist and charged forward with terrifying nomological fragments. Boom! Flames surged into the sky as the fist pressed forward. Terrifying power rushed into the sky, causing the entire starry sky to tremble. The 2 collided, erupting with shocking energy that illuminated the dark universe. That brat actually dared to take it head-on. Is he courting death? Hee, we can kill him without Sixth Uncle's help. That's natural. Previously, it was inconvenient for Sixth Uncle to make a move on the Langya star. Otherwise, how could that brat have survived until now? In the spirit boat, the people of the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan sneered. Under this attack, even a half-sage would not be able to survive. That brat was definitely dead. However, their smiles soon froze, and their eyes became filled with fear. They looked ahead, their bodies trembling non-stop. In the energy light in front of them, a figure was like a god of war, rampaging and tearing apart all the light. Then, it turned into an eternal light that quickly charged towards them. Damn it, it's that brat. Impossible, how could he still be alive? Even a half-sage was dead. What kind of physique did he have? Could it be that he had top-notch battle armor on him? These people screamed in horror. Quickly, fire again. They fired another 4 energy beams that shot towards the other party as if they were about to destroy the world. However, Lin Xian's physique was extremely powerful. Nomological fragments circulated around his body, and his 9-yang divine body was burning like a blazing sun. Lin Xian broke through all the attacks and arrived in front of the 2 spirit boats. Boom! He punched out and blasted forward. With a clang, an earth-shattering sound rang out like 10,000 claps of thunder. The spirit boat trembled non-stop and a fist mark appeared on it. It was incomparably deep and it was almost penetrated. Inside the spirit boat, the people of the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan were so scared that they trembled all over when they saw this scene. Damn it, who the hell is this person? One had to know that their spirit boat was very sturdy. Even a half-sage could not break it. But now the other party's punch had almost penetrated it. Could it be that this brat had surpassed a half-sage? Damn it, we can't be so passive. The distance is too close, so it's not easy for the spirit boat to attack. Let's hurry up and attack. We have 8 people on our side. I don't believe that we can't kill him. The young prodigy gritted his teeth. This prodigy was also a half-sage. He said, let's join forces. There were several half-sages in the 2 spirit boats. The others were also close to reaching the half-sage realm. They had all comprehended power that was close to the Tao. Chapter 3244. Kill. In an instant these people rushed out. 5 of them quickly combined their formations to form the Heavenly Fiend formation and charged towards Lin Xian. The other 3 were all half-step saints. They had terrifying nomological fragments on them. They were extremely terrifying like demon kings. Could go to hell. The 8 of them attacked together with earth-shattering momentum. They were confident that they could definitely kill a half-step saint in an instant. To be honest, the Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan was very powerful. With their lineup, not to mention killing a half-step saint. They could even kill 3 half-step saints. But now, unfortunately, they encountered Lin Xian. Lin Xian split the sky with his sword and directly shattered all the attacks. At the same time, his left leg swept out with the nomological fragments of the earth. Like an earth dragon, it instantly crushed the void. In front, the Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan members were instantly kicked out. Several of them were broken at the waist. Next, various nomological fragments danced in the air. Lin Xian directly defeated these people with his powerful strength. Oh, damn it, impossible. How can you be so powerful? These people from the Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan went crazy. The other party actually used several nomological fragments. Oh my god, how is this possible? One had to know that most of them only had a single nomological fragment. At most, there were 2 nomological fragments. However, the other party took out 4 or 5 nomological fragments in a row. They were beaten until they vomited blood. Not good, an expert and a top expert. These people went crazy and hurriedly fled back to the spirit boat. Leave quickly, leave. They wanted to escape, but how could they escape? The annihilation nomological fragment formed a large crack in front of them, and all the power was dissolved. Lin Xian held the nomological swords with both hands. One was a fire nomological sword, and the other was a metal nomological sword. He waved his hands and sword chi swept out. Soon these Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan members were all killed. Oh. When Lin Xian killed the last Heavenly Fiend Lone Wolf clan member, a crazy roar came from afar. The surrounding void kept shattering, and large cracks of millions of miles appeared, charging towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and with a sweep of his long sword, he cut off the cracks. He raised his head and looked ahead. In the distance, a few figures flew over. The person in the lead was extremely powerful. It was the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf's 6th uncle. The skinny man was so angry that his lungs were about to explode when he saw the scene in front of him. 8 geniuses of the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf tribe had died at the hands of the other party. I'll tear you to shreds. He raised his head and roared. His aura was like an avalanche, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. In an instant, he formed a giant silver wolf and charged towards Lin Xian. This was a type of great bloodline ability, bringing with it heaven overflowing silver law fragments, covering the sky and covering the earth. Kill. Lin Xian also roared as he brandished his golden nomological sword. It was like a golden dragon dancing in the sky as the 2 huge shadows clashed in the universe. The resulting scene was extremely terrifying. Fortunately, this was not the astral world but the cold universe. There were no buildings or people in the surroundings. Otherwise, everything would probably turn into ashes. Damn brat, I want you dead. The man called 6th uncle gritted his teeth and roared. Lin Xian sneered. If you want to blame someone, blame the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf tribe. You asked for it and had to hunt me down. All of this is what you deserve. Brat, you're too arrogant. Do you really think you can compete with me? In front of him, the skinny man's expression was ferocious. The power of the bloodline and the silver law fragments on his body were becoming more and more monstrous. At this point, he had completely made up his mind to tear the person in front of him into pieces. He would not hold back. Is that so? I want to see what ability the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf tribe has to be so arrogant. Lin Xian said coldly. He had 6 types of law fragments and the dragon sword soul. Why would he be afraid of the other party? You don't know what's good for you. When I catch you later, I'll pull out your tendons and skin you alive. I'll use hellfire to refine your soul for 10,000 years. I'll make you wish you were dead. As soon as he finished speaking, the skinny man turned into a silver flash and instantly charged towards Lin Xian. When he got close to Lin Xian, silver law fragments erupted from the skinny man's body and turned into wolf claws. They were densely packed and covered the sky, enveloping Lin Xian. They wanted to tear him to pieces. Boom. Lin Xian snorted coldly and activated the 9 Yang divine body. His body shone brightly with mysterious runes on it that flickered with monstrous flames. At this moment, Lin Xian was really like a flaming war god. He relied on his strong physique to resist the skinny man's attack. At the same time, he activated the golden law fragment and formed a golden law sword. He waved it continuously. Not only did it contain the power of the golden law, but it also contained the power of the dragon sword soul. Boom. The demon wolf claws slammed onto Lin Xian's body, emitting a sonorous sound and erupting with thousands of rays of light that illuminated the area. The void continued to shatter. Lin Xian's body trembled and even took a step back. However, his body did not split open. How could his body be so strong? The skinny man's pupils shrank in disbelief. His attack was so powerful that an ordinary half-saint would have been torn apart. Even if they had half-saint armor, they would be injured and spit out large mouthfuls of blood. Even their internal organs would be shattered. But now, the other party's body only swayed a little and dissolved his terrifying power. It was really unbelievable. Could it be that the kid in front of him was a body-tempering expert? He was extremely surprised. At the same time, the law sword in Lin Xian's hand had already slashed down. Bus. Not good. The skinny man called sixth uncle quickly retreated. However, he was still a step too late. The sword shattered all the demon wolf claws that he had sent out. There was even a sword mark on his arm. Blood that had penetrated deep into his bones instantly flowed out. Damn it. The skinny man was extremely shocked. Not only was the other party's physique strong, but his attack was also shocking. He was from the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan, an ancient monster. His physique was extremely strong. Even if he did not wear armor, an ordinary half-saint would not be able to hurt him. But now the other party had injured him with a light sword. The skinny man was in disbelief. His expression was gloomy as the law power in his body quickly circulated, trying to heal the wound. But soon he frowned. He could not heal it completely. There was a sharp sword intent on the wound that could not be erased in a short time. Damn it, seal. The skinny man used the law fragment to seal the wound and stop the bleeding. The next moment, he raised his head and stared at the other party with a piercing light in his eyes. Skywolf eyes. A pair of green eyes burst out with a piercing light, forming two green storms that swept forward. This was a kind of eye technique. Not only could it injure the body but it could also injure the soul. With one strike it could destroy one's soul. Bus. The two green storms passed through the flames on Lin Xian's body and seemed to want to tear Lin Xian's body apart. Lin Xian's nine-yang divine body erupted with incomparable power. He was like a flaming war god, unstoppable. Chapter 3245. Brat, do you think you can fight against me? Under my heavenly wolf eyes, your body and soul will be destroyed. The skinny man sneered. Lin Xian did not say anything, but he increased the power of his heavenly secret divine eyes. The golden light and the green storm collided, creating a shocking collision. It was as if the entire starry sky was shaking. The two-eye techniques disappeared in the sky. Is this all you've got? Not good. Lin Xian sneered. Brat, you're courting death. The skinny man roared, but he was shocked. He did not expect his heavenly wolf eye to be blocked by his opponent. It was too unexpected. In the next moment, his eyes turned cold, and the silver light on his body became more solid, as if he had really summoned a demonic beast of heaven and earth. Behind him, the Skyfiend Lone Wolf became excited when he saw this scene. It seemed that their sixth uncle was going to use his trump card. The silhouette of the Silver Sky Wolf became more and more solid. Then it let out a roar and charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted, and the nine-yang divine body shone brightly, forming the shadow of the fire god. It stood tall in the sky. With a furious roar, its huge body charged forward. One had a strong physique and the other had a terrifying bloodline. When the two clashed, it was earth-shattering. Skyfiend Wolf howl. At this moment, the skinny man roared again, and the silver wolf tattoo on his face flickered, and a blood-red light appeared on it. Brr. With a roar, a terrifying blood-red sound wave surged forward with a strong murderous aura. The void shattered, and the nine-yang divine body's shadow was suppressed. The sound wave was so terrifying that Lin Xian felt his blood boil, and his soul was about to faint. Azure Dragon howl. Lin Xian also roared, and the dragon-beating sword spirit in his body roared. The dragon's roar turned into a sword wave, with him as the center, spreading forward. The dragon's roar resounded through the 9 heavens. With a strong sword intent, it blocked the heavenly wolf howl. At the same time, the dragon's roar caused the experts of the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan to tremble uncontrollably. Not good. Bloodline suppression. The voice coming from the other party's body was too shocking. Even the skinny man's expression changed. He could feel that the Sky Wolf projection on his body was being suppressed. Damn it, you can actually let out a dragon's roar. The skinny man was extremely shocked. He frantically urged the silver laws and quickly rushed over. In the blink of an eye, he merged with the heavenly wolf's phantom and slammed into the nine-yang divine body's phantom. Boom. The phantom of the nine-yang divine body was pierced through. He quickly charged towards Lin Xian. His strength had increased again. Lin Xian was shocked. He didn't expect this man to be so strong. It seemed that the other party was a veteran half-saint. His bloodline power and law fragment were both extremely powerful. No wonder he dared to be so arrogant. 13 green lotus swords. Lin Xian waved the golden light sword in his hand, drawing out 13 sword chi in the sky. These sword chi carried the power of the metal law fragment and the fire law fragment. They quickly condensed in the air, forming a golden lotus. The fire on top of it was jumping. The two law fragments intertwined and flew forward. In an instant, it enveloped the skinny man. The golden flame lotus split open, and the terrifying sword chi completely pierced through the void. The metal law was extremely sharp and the fire law was extremely violent. These two laws were extremely powerful in terms of attack power. At this moment the two were mixed together. That power was truly terrifying to the extreme. The skinny man instantly felt threatened. The sword chi hit his body, causing the sky wolf projection on his body to tremble violently. In the end, the sky wolf projection was pierced through, and a few sword chi slashed towards him. Get lost. The skinny man roared angrily, and a layer of blood light appeared on his body, forming blood-colored patterns that crawled all over his body. As a member of the Sky Fiend Lone Wolf clan, his body was not to be trifled with. At this moment he exerted all his strength, and his originally thin and slender body suddenly enlarged, turning into a giant of about 30 meters tall. Silver hair even appeared on his body and a tail appeared on his back. His claws also became sharp. At this moment he had become very similar to a human-shaped demon wolf. He wanted to use this demon beast's body to resist the remaining sword chi. When the sword chi hit his body, a dazzling light burst out and forced him to retreat. In the end, 2 streaks of sword chi pierced through his body, leaving 2 bloody holes in his body. The fire law even ignited one of his arms. The skinny man roared wildly, using his bloodline power to suppress the sword chi. In the end, he shattered all the sword chi and the flames were also extinguished by him. However, he was also injured by this attack. Behind him, the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan members screamed crazily. They did not dare to imagine that their 6th uncle would be injured again. If the first time was because of carelessness, then this time, there was no way to explain. The opponent was very strong, stronger than their 6th uncle. 6th uncle, let's attack together. The experts at the back blurted out. Okay. 6th uncle gritted his teeth and nodded. Now was not the time for him to be stubborn. Although the opponent was younger than him, he was too strong. Moreover, the opponent's skills were so strange that it was impossible for him to guard against them. When the opponent's sword chi hit his body, the wound could not be completely healed. Although it was not fatal, it still affected his combat strength. The 3 figures behind him rushed over. They were also very strong. It seemed that they were going to fight 4 against 1. Ruffian dragon. Lin Xian roared, and the dark red dragon behind him rushed out of the black earth. With a roar, it transformed into a 100-meter-long dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws in the air, and its powerful dragon might suppress the surroundings. Haha, I can't wait any longer. Come, come, come. I'll teach you how to barbecue skewers today. Lightning surrounded his body and clouds filled the air. He truly carried boundless divine might. My God, my God. Sitting on his back was a snow-white monkey. At this moment, the snow-white monkey was waving its little paws, seemingly very excited. Dragons. When the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan members saw this scene, their pupils constricted. They did not expect that in addition to the kid in front of them, the other party had a dragon companion. Moreover, it seemed that the other party was not an ordinary dragon. The dragon might and dragon blood on the other party's body were too strong. I didn't expect you to have a helper, but so what? Do you believe that 4 half-sages can't take you down? Indeed, no matter how strong the other party was, there were only 2 half-sages on their side. 2 against 1, they should be able to win, right? Moreover, they were from the same clan and their bloodlines could resonate, so they could use some of the clan's forbidden skills. Chapter 3246. Attack. On the other side, the man called 6th Uncle roared, and the 4 half-saints charged over. 6th Uncle and one of the men charged toward Lin Xian, while the other 2 half-saints charged toward the dark red dragon. Go to hell, kid. 6th Uncle and the young half-saint quickly attacked, brandishing their powerful law fragments. These 2 half-saints were not ordinary. For a moment they suppressed Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian soon counterattacked. He had 6 kinds of law fragments and was very powerful. He was not at a disadvantage against the 2 half-saints, and he was gradually suppressing them. This scene shocked 6th Uncle and the young half-saint. Damn it, he's too strong. Could it be that he didn't use his full strength before? Thinking of this, 6th Uncle's face turned gloomy. Kill him. I must kill him. Otherwise he would be a big disaster. On the other battlefield, the dark red dragon was also very powerful. He kept spewing wind and lightning, and the clouds around him surged. Rain fell from the sky. The 4 half-saints were fighting with 4 kinds of law fragments. For a moment the scene was shocking. The dark red dragon was not at a disadvantage either. He even beat the two half-saints, causing them to scream in pain. Damn it, he's also an expert. He's using all kinds of divine abilities. Moreover, the dragon's physique is stronger than theirs. For a moment, the four half-step saints, including the sky-fiend Lone Wolf, roared madly. Sixth Uncle's heart sank when he saw this. If this continued, they would not be able to do anything to their opponent. They might even be seriously injured. In the end, someone might die here. You three listen to my orders. Form the four-beast formation. Sixth Uncle roared angrily and bit his finger. The half-saint's blood flowed, forming a strange arc with his hand and the fragment of the precept. It was a mysterious rune with blood-colored power, as if it was summoning some kind of divine ability. The other three half-saints did the same. Soon, a blood-colored rune formed in front of him. For a moment, an inexplicable connection was formed between the four of them. A huge formation was formed around the four of them, which encapsulated Lin Shenhan and the Crimson Godly Dragon. Damn it, ruffian dragon, fight back. They were forming a formation. Lin Xian let out a long howl, his eyes bursting with a piercing cold light. The sword chi in his hand became even more terrifying. Sword after sword slashed forward. The dark red divine dragon naturally knew that it couldn't possibly allow these people to form a formation. He quickly moved out, using the great divine ability of the dragons to fly forward. However, the four half-saints were determined to use this technique. Their speed was incomparably fast. They simply didn't try to fight back. Instead, they quickly dodged. Moreover, as half-saints, their speed at forming seals was extremely fast. Thus, the formation was about to be completed. At this time, the little snow-white monkey made its move, arriving in front of a half-saint in an instant. It reached out its little claws, slapping the other party's face. Bang! He knocked the other party unconscious in an instant. Great! The dark red divine dragon seized the opportunity and swung its dragon claws, tearing the opponent's body apart. Brr! The half-step saint screamed miserably. His body split open and blood instantly flowed out. As for the formation, it also paused for a moment. It was not complete and only one step was left. Not good. Sixth Uncle's pupils constricted. Damn it, there's something wrong with that monkey too. They were all half-saints and they were so powerful, but they were knocked unconscious by the other party's slap. There was definitely something wrong with this. The half-step saint's body shattered, and he screamed like a madman. However, he quickly reformed. At his level, although the injury was serious, it was not enough to kill him. After healing, he roared and the blood light on his body surged into the sky. His body suddenly enlarged, and the robe on his body was torn apart, leaving only a suit of armor on his body. His appearance also changed. Silver-white wolf fur appeared on his body, a tail appeared on his back, and his claws became sharp. His human head also turned into a wolf's head, and his green eyes were emitting a terrifying light. True form. The other party had transformed into his true form. Moreover, the power of his bloodline was fully activated. With a wave of his wolf claws, he tore the void apart. He grabbed the little snow-white monkey. At the same time, his other hand formed the last rune, and suddenly, the formation of four beasts was formed. The millions of miles of space where Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon were turned completely blood-red. The little snow-white monkey quickly dodged the other party's wolf claws, and made faces in the sky, spitting saliva. However, at this moment, the blood-red light in the void stretched out four blood-red arms. There were bright blood-red patterns on each of them. The appearance of the four arms was very strange, and as soon as they appeared, they sealed a small space. That small space was where the little snow-white monkey was. Buzz! The four arms grabbed the little snow-white monkey. Not good. The dark red divine dragon exclaimed and wanted to rush over, but the other half-step saint cooperated with the formation to resist. In the distance, Lin Xian also frowned. He was also blocked by Sixth Uncle and the other half-step saint. Get lost. Lin Xian knocked the two half-step saints back with a sword, but soon the two half-step saints rushed over. Are you trying to kill us? Impossible. This time the monkey will definitely die. You're courting death. Lin Xian was furious. His eyes shone with a cold light, and powerful sword chi rose from his body. In an instant he shot out 48,000 sword chi, and the terrifying light shrouded Sixth Uncle and the other half-step saint. In the next moment the two half-step saints screamed. Thousands of cracks appeared on their bodies, and they were densely packed, covering their entire bodies. Their eyes were filled with fear. Sixth Uncle roared, "Damn monkey, go to hell!" The four arms exerted force, and the blood-red light filled the sky, as if it could tear everything apart. Not good. Lin Xian felt a sense of threat from above. It could definitely tear a half-step saint's body apart. The little snow-white monkey was in danger. It was impossible to rush over now, but he would not give up. His palms formed a seal, and a golden eye appeared in the sky, carrying a powerful and mysterious power. The golden runes spun rapidly, forming a terrifying flame that floated down. Suddenly the surrounding blood-red mist was all burned. However, even more mist floated out and formed layers upon layers of blood-colored walls, protecting the 4 blood-colored palms. At this moment, the blood-red palms exerted force. With a squelch, the space was completely crushed. "Oh, Whitey!" Lin Xian roared and his eyes turned red. The little snow-white monkey was his companion, and she had helped him find many treasures along the way. But he did not expect that she would be killed by the other party now. His eyes were red. "If Whitey dies, I'll bury the entire Lonesome Wolves with her." Lin Xian's voice was so cold that Sixth Uncle and the other 3 half-step saints trembled. They seemed to have provoked an extremely powerful being. Damn it. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon roared. "I won't let you go either. I'll break your necks one by one. Then I'll eat you all." His eyes were red. He and the little snow-white monkey had formed a deep relationship. Just as the 2 of them were in despair, a muffled voice came from the blood-red void in front of them. Then it turned into a roar. Chapter 3247. Whitey and Lin Xian exclaimed. The dark red divine dragon heaved a sigh of relief. Everything was fine. That was great. Sixth Uncle and the others narrowed their eyes. Not dead? How was that possible? Could it be that this monkey was also a half-saint? He could not believe that the 3 of them were all half-saints. Where did they come from? One had to know that the Skyfiend Lone Wolf clan could produce so many half-saints because they had a long history and were powerful. Their clan was extremely powerful in the universe. However, they did not know the other party at all. Previously, they thought that the other party was just someone from a small world and would not be able to withstand a single blow. But now they realized that they were wrong. The other party was too mysterious. The 2 companions beside the other party were also very mysterious. Damn it, how was that possible? The monkey was not dead. The half-saint was also stunned. He looked at the scene in front of him and was extremely shocked. The little white monkey flew out of the blood-red void. Its little face had become a little cold, and its big black eyes were shining with a trace of golden light. In the next moment there was a shocking change. Buzz. His body abruptly grew in size, with countless bolts of lightning and light revolving around his body. It was as if it had turned into an ape king. Boom. With a punch, it destroyed everything. The half-saint was smashed into pieces. A miserable voice was heard. The half-step saint was screaming in the void. However, in the next moment, Whitey opened its mouth and directly swallowed the half-saint's soul. This scene was simply too shocking. They did not expect the little white monkey to have such a change. Even the dark red divine dragon and Lin Xian were stunned. One had to know that the little white monkey had always been very cute. Although it had a special ability, it was very fast. Its speed was extremely fast and it could knock people unconscious. Moreover, it could also search for treasures. However, other than that, it did not show much in terms of combat strength. Lin Xian did not plan to let the little white monkey fight. The little white monkey's search for treasures was very important to him and he was very happy about it. But now, who would have thought that the snow-white little monkey would suddenly undergo a shocking change? The cute furball had turned into an indomitable ape king. Moreover, that power was extremely terrifying. A single strike had shattered a half-saint. In fact, he had even sucked in his opponent's soul. He had killed a half-saint with just a wave of his hand. Damn it, what is this thing? The other 2 half-saints of the Lonesome Wolf tribe were stunned. Even the 6th uncle was dumbfounded. "Sixth Uncle, what's going on?" The other 2 asked crazily. 6th Uncle's face was gloomy as he stared at the imposing figure in front of him, his eyes flickering. Damn it, why was it so similar to that thing in the legends? But that was impossible. Wasn't that thing extinct a long time ago? The 6th uncle was deeply shocked. He had a guess in his mind, but he quickly rejected it as soon as it appeared. Impossible, that thing couldn't possibly exist. However, what was going on with the scene before him? Could it be that it was related to that thing? Or perhaps he possessed a trace of the other party's bloodline? Thinking of this possibility, 6th uncle felt that it was very likely. His face turned cold. Damn it, let's go. These people are too strange. Whether it was Lin Xian, the dark red divine dragon, or the sudden appearance of Little White, they were all beyond their expectations. If they continued to fight, they would probably be in danger. Therefore, the three of them turned around and wanted to leave. Just as the three of them moved, an earth-shattering roar came from behind them. The four beasts formation they had formed was instantly torn apart. Not only that, a terrifying white light came toward them. In an instant, a behemoth appeared in front of them. With a wave of its hand, it had the power to sweep away the world. The three of them tried their best to dodge. At this moment, the little white monkey stared at one of the half-saints. Once again it clawed down and crushed him. It sucked hard and sucked the half-saint's soul. Damn it, run. Ignite your bloodline. The sixth uncle screamed crazily. The other party was too strange. He didn't dare to fight against it at all. The two of them used all their strength, and their bodies emitted a blood-red light. Behind them, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon took a deep breath. They still hadn't figured out what was going on with Little White. But now there was no time for them to think about it. They had to kill the Lonesome Wolf clan first and then slowly interrogate them. The two of them also unleashed their strength and the laws on their bodies danced. Lin Xian turned into a dragon shadow and turned into a sword light, quickly rushing over. The sixth uncle and the half-saint had already lost the will to fight. Under the attack of the little white monkey, they were scared out of their wits. At this moment, with Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon, they were forced to retreat. The young half-saint was pierced through by the 5 lightning law of the divine dragon. Then the little white monkey smashed him with a slap and sucked his soul into its stomach. As for the sixth uncle, Lin Xian used the metal law and the great dragon sword soul to slash him apart. His soul was also swallowed by the little white monkey. Everyone was killed. Lin Xian began to collect their spirit boats and storage rings. The dark red divine dragon collected all their flesh and blood. The Lonesome Wolf clan had a rich bloodline and powerful strength. These things were very useful to him. The little snow white monkey continued to roar. Its huge and majestic body slowly shrunk until it turned into a small furry ball. The little white monkey opened its eyes, and there was a trace of confusion in its black gem-like eyes. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon stopped what they were doing and quickly flew over. "Are you okay?" Lin Xian asked with concern. The dark red divine dragon beside him also said, "Little one, did you eat the wrong medicine?" The little white monkey was very confused. Then it waved its little paw, pointed at Lin Xian and spoke in a childish voice. "Lin Xian." Hearing this voice, Lin Xian was stunned. The little snow-white monkey could actually speak. It was too shocking. One had to know that he was very shocked before. How could a spiritual beast like the little white monkey not speak? But he had not seen the little white monkey speak all this time. Now the little white monkey could finally speak. This made Lin Xian very happy. The dark red divine dragon also hurriedly asked, "Little one, what about me? Do you know me? Big Bad Dragon." The dark red divine dragon was extremely displeased with this form of address. "Kid, you should be calling me the Dragon Emperor of the 8 Barren Lands, the one and only sword comes from the west." Lin Xian rolled his eyes at the dark red divine dragon, and then looked at the little white monkey. "What happened just now? Can you transform? What race are you?" Chapter 32:48. The snow-white little monkey shook its head, still very confused. "Forget it," Lin Xian didn't ask further. He knew that the snow-white little monkey was a mutant of heaven and earth, so it should be normal for it to have mysterious divine abilities. In any case, the other party would become stronger and stronger in the future. Moreover, the other party didn't encounter any danger, which made him heave a sigh of relief. Next, he put away all the storage rings and spirit boats of the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf clan. Then the two of them returned to the spirit boat and flew quickly. They flew towards the elven planet. The Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf clan had several half-sages, and the resources in their storage rings were very rich. Hence, Lin Xian obtained a lot of things from this killing operation, including many divine crystals. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Previously, he had spent almost all his divine crystals to inquire about the Tao Stone. Originally, he had a headache, but now the Heaven Fiend Lone Wolf clan had given him so many divine crystals. It was enough for him to cultivate for this period of time. Next, Lin Xian and the others entered seclusion. With He Tu controlling the spirit boat, they flew in the universe. In another place in the pitch-black universe, a man who looked like a demon was riding a dragon boat. In front of him, there was a light screen with a light spot that was moving quickly. The great demon looked at the moving light spot on the light screen and snorted coldly. "I want to see where you can escape to." Half a year passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Xian, the dark red divine dragon, and the others opened their eyes. They were almost at their destination. After flying for another 2 months, a green planet finally appeared in front of them. The green planet was too strange and was very different from other worlds. Green light surrounded it and emitted a dense vitality. What a powerful wood power! Lin Xian was shocked. He also had a fragment of the wood law, so he could naturally feel the powerful vitality of the world below. This should be the elven planet, right? These green lights were all forests. Beside him, the dark red divine dragon was also shocked. He had never seen a world with such a vast forest that occupied more than 90% of the entire world. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and sped up the spirit ship. They entered the elven planet. Half a day later, Lin Xian and company walked out of the spirit boat. He put away the spirit boat with the little white monkey sitting on his shoulder. The dark red divine dragon followed beside him, and the three of them looked around. As far as the eye could see, it was a vast and boundless primeval forest with luxuriant foliage. All kinds of rare and precious beasts were running and roaring within. The vitality here was very strong. Where was the elf forest? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Although most of this place was a primeval forest, it should be divided into many regions. That's easy. The dark red divine dragon swung its tail and turned into a phantom as it rushed down. Soon he flew up with a demonic beast in his hand. This was a 9-star demon king. Originally, it was an overlord-level existence in the forest. However, in front of the dark red divine dragon he was trembling. Spare me. This 9-star demon king was trembling uncontrollably. The dark red dragon snorted coldly. If you want to live, tell us where the elf forest is. So the three of you want to go to the elf forest? That's easy. I'll take you there. The demon king's body trembled. Soon, the dark red divine dragon released its claws, and the 9-star demon king's body transformed into a flying demonic beast that was tens of thousands of meters long. He said, "Come on up, I'll take you there now." Lin Xian, the dark red divine dragon, and the little white monkey got on the back of the flying demonic beast, turned into a stream of light and flew into the distance. After flying for about another day, the demonic beast stopped. He said, "Below us is the elf forest. The elf forest is very large, but the dark green ahead is the depths of the elf forest. It's very dangerous inside." At this point, a hint of fear appeared in his eyes. Clearly, this place was also a forbidden area for them. "All right, you can go." Lin Xian waved his hand and didn't kill them. The demon king was so excited that he was about to cry. He turned into a gust of demonic wind and quickly fled. Was this the elf forest? The dark red divine dragon looked around in surprise. He looked at the little white monkey to see if there were any treasures below. "Yeah, I feel that there are a lot of good things." Little White waved its little claws, its big gem-like eyes emitting light. "There should be a lot of natural treasures and rare fruits below. Let's go down and take a look." Since they had come to the elf forest, Lin Xian wasn't in a hurry. He would collect some resources first. In the next moment, the three of them flew down. This elf forest was indeed terrifying. There were groups of demonic beasts and just the outside was already very dangerous. However, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon were extremely powerful. The two of them worked together and easily killed everything. Countless demon kings prostrated on the ground, not daring to resist. Under the lead of the little white monkey, they obtained a lot of good things. These were all spirit herbs and spirit fruits that contained extremely strong energy, and most of them were recovery type. As expected of the elven planet, the vitality of the forest here was so exuberant. That was indeed the case. Lin Xian keenly observed that the life forms of the plants and monsters around him were much stronger than those of the monsters from other worlds. This should be a wood-type star, and the power of wood on it was very dense. That was why such a scene was created. I wonder where the wood Dao stone is? Lin Xian's eyes scanned the surroundings. Her soul spread out in all directions like a tide. Soon it covered a radius of 1,000,000 miles. Nothing. He frowned slightly. He had the Sun Dao stone in his hand, so he could naturally sense the aura of the other Dao stones. The aura of the Dao stones was extremely mysterious. The Dao runes contained on them were very special. If there was, he should have been able to sense it immediately. It seemed that there was nothing outside. It should be in the depths. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's expression turned solemn. His eyes erupted with a piercing golden light as he activated his heavenly secret divine eyes to the extreme. They transformed into two mysterious runes that pierced through the void and looked into the distance. His gaze pierced through everything and soon saw the depths of the elven forest. But in the next moment he frowned. Under the heavenly secret divine eyes, he had indeed sensed a mysterious power. However, when he wanted to take a closer look, he realized that that place was covered by a mysterious aura. Even so, he couldn't see through it. Lin Xian retracted his gaze. The dark red divine dragon beside him asked, "Kid, what did you see? Is there a wood-type Dao stone?" "I didn't see it. The depths of the elven forest are indeed not ordinary. There is a mysterious aura that blocks my observation. However, I did feel an extremely strong life force. Perhaps it should be a Dao stone. Moreover, with the news of the Langya star, it shouldn't be wrong." Chapter 3249. Lin Xian, the dark red divine dragon, and Snow White little Marquis walked towards the depths of the elven forest. At the same time, another group of people landed on the elven planet. It was a man in purple. He had a handsome face and a trace of evil in his eyes. Behind him were two followers, but they were also very powerful and had comprehended a level close to the Tao. "Master, this is the elven planet." A servant beside him hurriedly took out a scroll and opened it. The sky flickered and a map of the elven planet appeared. The servant pointed at a forest above and said, "This was the elven forest." "Elven forest? The octatic treasure snake should be inside. Let's go." The purple-robed man's figure swayed and flew forward. The two servants behind him quickly followed. On the other side in the forest, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon were very fast. They shuttled through and finally arrived at the depths of the elven forest. This was a forbidden area, so ordinary people wouldn't come here. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon didn't even encounter a single person along the way other than beasts. However, after arriving at the depths of the forest, there were fewer beasts around. But thinking about it, there should still be some. Moreover, although there were fewer beasts, their strength would probably increase by several times. Not long after the two of them entered, they were attacked. There was a tree demon around them with terrifying strength. The vines that filled the sky were extremely powerful as they pierced towards Su Qin and the dark red divine dragon at high speed. At the same time, the two of them felt the blood in their bodies churning as if they were about to be sucked dry. Boom! The dark red divine dragon opened its mouth and spat out thunder in all directions. Thunderwood. Instantly, the vines of these plants were sent flying. On Lin Xian's side, he also executed the law of metal, forming a terrifying sword light that slashed forward. With a slash of his sword, a vacuum was formed in front of him. Soon they left the range of the tree demon. But not long after, Lin Xian frowned. The dark red divine dragon also snorted coldly as a cold light erupted from its eyes. I'm a little dizzy." Little White sat on Lin Xian's shoulder and shook its head as if it was drunk. "Little guy, be careful, this flower is poisonous." Lin Xian looked at Little White and injected some energy into its body. Umph. He snorted coldly and countless sword chi rose up, completely enveloping them. There must be a very poisonous flower in the surroundings that affected them. However, Lin Xian had the great dragon sword spirit and could destroy everything. Even if there were poisonous flowers, they were not afraid. After the sword chi enveloped them, it quickly isolated them from the poison. Lin Xian's group continued onward. During this period they encountered all kinds of demonic beasts. Some of them had even reached the half-saint level. Fortunately, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon were powerful. They relied on various magical powers to safely pass through. Otherwise, if it were other half-sages, they would have fallen here. No wonder no one dared to come here. This was indeed a very dangerous place. However, it wasn't as if Lin Xian and the others didn't return empty-handed. Although this place was dangerous, other martialists rarely came here. This also meant that the treasures here were very old. Lin Xian found a few 9,000-year-old king herbs. He even found a small tree that was very old and had an extremely strong power. According to the dark red divine dragon's speculation, it should be more than 10,000 years old. Lin Xian was extremely tempted. He plucked the spiritual fruits on it and gave them to the dark red divine dragon and Little White. He put away the rest. He even plucked some leaves. It was an unexpected harvest. After doing this, they walked forward even faster. These could only be considered unexpected surprises. His main goal was the wood attribute Dao stone. Gradually, a gray fog appeared in front of them, enveloping the entire area. Poisonous gas. Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the path ahead would become even more dangerous. He used his sword chi even more bitingly cold, almost forming a sword-shaped small world. Their group was extremely powerful and had the power to destroy everything. The group walked into the poisonous gas. This time they were attacked even more. Other than these tree demons, there were also all kinds of demonic beasts. It was impossible to guard against them. Suddenly they stopped because there were a few corpses in front of them. These corpses no longer had flesh and blood, only bones were left. However, those bones were extremely unusual. Although they were broken and scattered on the ground, there was a light flowing on them. They carried a terrifying power. Obviously, these were the bones of a powerhouse. It seemed that this person was at least a half-saint powerhouse. The dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claw and grabbed the bones to look at them closely. Lin Xian also frowned. He found that although these bones were flowing with a mysterious aura, there were also many black spots on them. It was obvious that they had died from poison. It seemed that there were at least 3 half-saint corpses here. He didn't know if they were companions or if they had been attacked. However, it was obvious that they hadn't killed each other. Instead, they had been killed by the terrifying existence here. Be careful. They took a deep breath and continued to walk forward. After walking for about half an hour, Lin Xian's eyes suddenly burst with a cold light. The dark red divine dragon also exclaimed. There was someone. There was indeed someone ahead. However, the aura was very weak. Lin Xian and the others sped up and flashed over. There was a small stream in front of them, and beside the stream, there was a figure lying there. That person's armor was broken, his hair was disheveled, and his body was covered in blood. There was a huge crack on his body that had been forcefully torn open. The crack that the person couldn't heal was black and carried an extremely strong poison. Hearing the sound of something breaking through the air in front of them, the person by the river raised his head with difficulty, revealing a pale face. Lin Xian could see that this was a young warrior, and by the looks of it he should be a genius. He was very powerful and had reached the half-saint realm. However, he was now seriously injured. Not only his body, but his soul seemed to have been severely injured. Save me quickly. Seeing that someone was coming, the man hurriedly asked for help. However, as soon as he spoke, he spat out a large amount of blood that pierced through the void. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. However, he still struck out a beam of the law of wood and poured it into the man's body. Immediately, the man felt a vitality enveloping him. What's going on? Who attacked you? Is there a terrifying existence ahead? The dark red divine dragon also flew over and asked with a frown. He gave the man a few more pills and the man breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you for saving my life. I can't thank you enough. However, I advise you to leave quickly. There is a terrifying existence ahead. It's too terrifying. We can't kill him at all. However, he can easily kill us. Chapter 3250. 5 Half-Saints. When Lin Xian and the dark red dragon heard this, their expressions turned solemn. The joint forces of 5 half-saints was already an extremely terrifying force. But now 4 of them had been killed and 1 was seriously injured. It was unbelievable. What kind of existence was that? How could it be so terrifying? The dark red dragon asked. The young half-saint shook his head. His eyes were filled with fear. We don't know. He doesn't seem to have a physique and can transform into many forms. He can even split up. His body seems to be immortal. No matter how serious his injuries are, they can heal quickly. He calls himself an immortal. He's the one and only immortal. What? An immortal? When he said that, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon exclaimed. Their eyes were filled with seriousness. If he was really an immortal, then they were in danger. Even a great emperor couldn't become an immortal. They knew how terrifying an immortal was. But soon the dark red dragon shook its head. Impossible. There couldn't be an immortal here. A great emperor could rule thousands of worlds and sweep through the universe, let alone an immortal. If the other party was really an immortal, he would have gone out and ruled thousands of worlds. Why would he hide in a forest? Lin Xian nodded and quieted down. The little white monkey on his shoulder was holding a spirit fruit and gnawing on it. Its big black eyes were filled with curiosity. It said, I seem to feel a strange energy in front of me, but it doesn't seem to be an edible fruit. Strange energy. Could it be a Dao stone? Lin Xian was shocked. His eyes lit up. He and the dark red dragon looked at each other and took a deep breath. No matter how dangerous it was, they still had to take a look. However, at that moment Lin Xian's hair stood on end. The pale face of the young half-saint in front of him suddenly became ferocious. His eyes also turned green, and his body emitted a gloomy aura. In the next moment he roared crazily and instantly attacked Lin Xian. The attack was unexpected. The dark red dragon was shocked. Lin Xian's pupils also shrank. At this distance he couldn't dodge at all. He could only take it head-on. Boom. When the attack landed on him, it immediately tore apart the sword light on his body and landed on his body. Lin Xian was sent flying. Fortunately, his divine body was strong enough to block the attack. However, Lin Xian's blood was still boiling. Damn it. The dark red divine dragon roared and swung its tail. Like a raging wave crashing against the shore, it sent the injured half-saint flying. Damn it, we saved you out of kindness, but you actually dare to bite the hand that feeds you. He roared as if he had gone mad. The snow-white little monkey was also panting with rage, waving its little paws. Lin Xian gritted his teeth as he stood up and suppressed his surging blood and qi. No, something was wrong with him. He raised his head and looked ahead. As expected, the injured half-saint had been sent flying. He crashed into a tree branch in the distance and fell to the ground. His expression was hideous and pained. Kill me, I beg you, kill me. He's here. He's inside me. What the hell? The dark red divine dragon was startled. It seemed that there was something in the injured half-saint's body that was controlling him. It's him. It's that undying thing. One of his clones has entered my body. Kill me quickly. Give me a quick death. The injured half-saint screamed crazily. In the next moment he completely lost his mind. His face was shrouded in green light. It was extremely distorted. The blood on his body was no longer flowing. He emitted a cold aura and his killing intent exploded. He roared and charged towards Lin Xian. The surrounding ancient trees and plants were all mobilized by him. They formed countless attacks and suppressed Lin Xian. In an instant, Lin Xian felt as if he was facing the North Demon. The blood in his body was boiling as if it was about to be sucked away. He snorted coldly. The great dragon sword soul in his body surged and destroyed the terrifying power. Buzz. At this moment, the injured half-saint had already charged over. Terrifying fragments of laws rose from his body and formed a light palm that grabbed towards Lin Xian's head. This light palm could tear everything apart. It was extremely terrifying. Sword come. Lin Xian roared as he waved the countless fragments of the nomological laws of metal in his hand to form a golden sword of light. The sharp aura of the dragon sword soul flickered on it. Buzz. The sword slashed out. The power of laws, accompanied by the power of the great dragon sword soul, slashed forward. With a poochie sound, the sword split the opponent apart. The half-saint's soul floated in the void. Lin Xian could clearly see that there was a green ghost face on the half-saint's soul. It was extremely ferocious. It must be this green ghost face that controlled the half-saint. Kill me. The half-saint's soul said weakly. It was obvious that he was in great pain. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He knew that the half-saint would not survive. Thinking of this, he waved his sword again. A terrifying sword intent released a terrifying power and slashed forward. Feeling the power of the sword, the half-saint's green ghost face screamed and dodged instantly. However, how could he dodge Lin Xian's sword qi? The sword qi turned into a green lotus that directly enveloped the half-saint and quickly destroyed him. However, not only did this attack destroy the half-saint's green ghost face, but the half-saint's soul also dissipated. In the end, the half-saint's soul that was becoming fainter and fainter smiled. He stared at Lin Xian and seemed to be relieved. Thank you. Whoosh. The half-saint's soul dissipated. He had completely fallen. Lin Xian's heart was a little heavy. What was this ghost face? It was too terrifying. It could actually control a half-saint. Moreover, looking at the half-saint's terrified expression, it seemed that he had no strength to fight back at all. It seemed that there was indeed great danger ahead. Kid, let's go and take a look. I want to see what the hell is that thing that dares to call itself an immortal? They quickly overtook the enemy and charged forward. At this moment, another group of people came to the elf forest. It was the purple-robed young man and his two servants. The purple-robed young man looked at the forest below. The corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. A biting cold light appeared in his eyes. I can feel it. I can feel the aura of the octatic treasure snake. As long as I can obtain the octatic treasure snake, I can guarantee that my strength will increase again. Perhaps I can use it to break through and become a true half-saint. This purple-robed young man was the young man that Lin Xian had met on the Langya Star. His name was Ziyuhao. He was ranked 10th on the Abyss list. He was a powerful young genius who was also a half-saint. The target he was looking for was a strange beast called the octatic treasure snake. It was already extinct and only very few worlds had it. There was one in the elf forest. It seemed that he had come for it. Chapter 3251. Ziyuhao led the two servants into the elf forest, and soon they encountered danger. However, Ziyuhao sneered. He was a powerful young genius and his strength was terrifying. He did not even need to make a move as the two servants beside him could deal with it. Just like that they passed through. Outside the elf forest. If they continued forward, they would reach the depths of the elf forest. The aura ahead made Ziyuhao put away his smile and his expression became a little serious. The two servants beside him were on high alert as if they were facing a great enemy. Soon they entered the depths of the elf forest. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, one of the servants suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. His body was pierced by a tree branch, and the tree branch carried a terrifying power that sucked his blood dry. "Master, save me." The servant abandoned his physical body, and his soul floated out, screaming in the sky. Not good. The other servant's pupils constricted. It was too terrifying. He also opened up his domain and covered his body. The armor on his body shone with a piercing cold light. In the next moment he was sent flying and vomited blood. He was attacked as well. Ziyuhao sneered. "A mere tree demon dares to be arrogant in front of me?" He took out a short knife and waved it out. The purple short knife swayed, carrying a terrifying law fragment. With a slash of the knife, all the surrounding branches were cut into pieces. With more than 10 slashes, the terrifying tree demon was sent running away. The two servants heaved a sigh of relief. The soul in the sky entered the physical body, absorbed the power of heaven and earth and recovered again. "Thank you, Master, for helping." The servant knelt on the ground and was very respectful. The other servant was also full of admiration. Master's strength was so strong that he could sweep through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. A mere elf forest could not do anything to him. Ziyuhao snorted. "Of course, let's go." He strode forward and the two servants followed closely behind. After walking for about an hour, Ziyuhao frowned. He felt as if he was being stared at by a mysterious pair of eyes. With a snort, countless blade lights rushed out from his body, carrying a terrifying law phantom, and slashed in all directions. Even the void was torn apart. "Master, there is a corpse in front." One of the servants pointed at the bones in front and exclaimed. Ziyuhao frowned as well. Half-saints' corpses. Half-saints had fallen here and there was more than one. Just as they were about to step forward to investigate, the servant on the left suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream. His expression became incomparably strange as he frantically attacked. "Umph." Ziyuhao snorted coldly. His body shook and the purple light on his body formed a barrier. Does he not know what happened to his servant? But how could a mere power that was close to the Tao resist? He really overestimated himself. However, in the next moment he made a light sound. That was because he discovered that his servant's attack had actually pierced through the light he had shot out. Get lost. This was no longer a power that was close to the Tao, and it was enough to threaten him. Ziyuhao shouted coldly. With a wave of his sleeve, a terrifying energy blasted out along with a storm. It was as if it could tear the entire world apart. The servant was sent flying. His body was torn apart but he soon reassembled. His face turned incomparably green, and his body emitted a green light. Damn it, what's going on? Ziyuhao tightly frowned. However, at that moment, the other servant beside him also became incomparably strange. Both of them underwent a strange change and attacked him. A purple short blade appeared in Ziyuhao's hand. He slashed out and the two servants were cut in half. However, the state of the two servants at that moment was very strange. They seemed to have endless vitality. Although their bodies were shattered, they reassembled and quickly charged forward. Damn it! Ziyuhao roared angrily and fought with them. In the end, although he killed the two servants, his expression was very ugly. He had consumed a lot of energy in this battle because the other party was too difficult to kill. In the end, he discovered a green ghost face on the souls of the two servants, which made his heart beat wildly. What was that thing? He did not know, but he knew that there should be a terrifying existence inside. Damn it, I don't want to provoke that thing. I have to quickly find the octatic treasure snake and leave quickly. He was no longer as calm as when he came. Before he came, he thought that he was a top heavenly sect, a young half-step saint who could suppress everything. A mere elf forest was nothing in his eyes. But now he realized that he was wrong. This place was really terrifying. He reckoned that he was no match for it at all. Fortunately, he did not encounter the other party's main body. He only exchanged blows with the other party from a distance. Thinking of this, Ziyuhao turned into a stream of light and instantly disappeared into the forest. In the forest, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon continued on their way. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. Fortunately, he had the great dragon sword spirit. His sword chi was abnormally sharp and could destroy everything. That was why he could easily kill that monster. Otherwise, if it was another half-step saint, it might be very troublesome or even lose their lives. Suddenly, the aura in front of them became cold, and the surrounding plants also turned dark green. Most of them were poisonous. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon were especially careful. However, at this moment, Whitey cheered. Yeah, I seem to have sensed something delicious. Oh, a natural treasure? Lin Xian activated the heavenly secret divine eye and looked in all directions. Soon he was stunned. Through the heavenly secret divine eye, he saw a cold pond tens of thousands of miles away. That cold pond was emitting a terrifying cold aura. However, Lin Xian's attention was not on the cold pond but around it. There was a plant. It shone brilliantly and there was a fruit on it. It was like a dancing snake. It was a serpent fruit, and from the looks of it, it should be a 10,000-year-old serpent fruit. Lin Xian hurriedly told what he saw. The dark red divine dragon took a deep breath after hearing it. The snow-white little monkey squinted its big eyes into crescents. It was indeed delicious. This little guy is really a foodie. Let's go. Lin Xian smiled and waved his hand. They quickly rushed over. Lin Xian had never seen a 10,000-year-old spiritual herb before. However, he saw one in the elf forest this time. He did not expect to see another one now. How could he give up? He must get the serpent fruit. Soon they crossed tens of thousands of miles and arrived near the cold pond. Their eyes were all fixed on the serpent fruit. Whitey ran to the front and stretched out its furry little paw, wanting to pluck the serpent fruit. However, at this moment there was a change in the cold pond. An extremely cold light with terrifying power pierced through the void and headed for the snow-white little monkey. Whitey turned into a white light and dodged quickly. However, at the same time, it did not have the chance to pluck the serpent fruit. I'm so angry. Whitey was fuming. Lin Xian furrowed his brows as he shifted his gaze from the 10,000-year snake spirit fruit to the cold pond beside him. Chapter 3252. The dark red divine dragon looked over and said, Kid, I sense an aura. It seems that there's a demonic beast inside. Is there a demonic beast? Lin Xian frowned. Then he sneered and waved his hand. Dozens of sword energies rushed in. Instantly, the cold pond was pierced through and an angry roar came from inside. Then, countless cold pond water danced, turning into water pillars that pierced through the void. They were like waves crashing in all directions. From the water pillars that filled the sky, a huge creature rushed out. This was a huge snake. It was very huge, at least 1,000 feet long. Its body carried a monstrous cold baleful aura. Its huge head emitted a cold light. Not only that, what was even stranger was that on the snake's body, there were 8 eyes that flickered. What demonic beast is this? It was so strange. Lin Xian looked at the 8 strange eyes and frowned. Those 8 eyes were incomparably blood-red and looked very strange. With a glance, it was as if they could pierce through one's soul. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Light soared from his body, severing this terrifying connection. At the side, the dark red divine dragon screamed. Octatic treasure snake, there's actually an octatic treasure snake here. Octatic treasure snake, what is that? Lin Xian asked. The dark red divine dragon said. Ancient mutated beasts were extremely terrifying. It was just that he didn't expect to encounter one here. One had to know that the octatic treasure snake had been extinct for a long time. Some worlds basically didn't have it. He didn't expect that there would actually be one in this elf forest. What a pleasant surprise. Kid, this octatic treasure snake is useful to me. I will definitely kill him. The dark red divine dragon's eyes lit up. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. He waved his hand and the terrifying fragments of the law of water returned. Instantly, the surrounding cold pond was controlled and the power of the law rushed into the void. In an instant, the surrounding pond water transformed into chains that rushed over, instantly enveloping the huge body of the octatic treasure snake. Brr. The octatic treasure snake roared towards the sky. Damn human, you actually dare to attack me? You really deserve to die. He opened his mouth and spat out a blue aura. It was like a wave but also like lightning. It instantly streaked past and attacked Lin Xian. Boom. Seeing the other party charging at him, Lin Xian raised his fist and punched out. At this moment he was like the god of fire. His fist carried a terrifying flame energy as he rushed out. In an instant, the blue aura was shattered. Lin Xian roared and soared into the sky. Despicable human, you actually dare to disturb my rest. Go to hell. The octatic treasure snake roared angrily, its enormous body swaying. The chains formed by the frigid pond's water were instantly shattered. He let out a roar as his figure was teleported toward Lin Xian. With a boom, Lin Xian kicked out and collided with his opponent's attack. In the next moment, Lin Xian was sent flying. The octatic treasure snake was also sent flying, its massive body crashing into the ground, crushing a large area of the forest. 1,000,000 miles of cracks appeared on the ground. Damn it! The octatic treasure snake faced the sky and roared. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. What a strong physique. It wasn't damaged at all? At the same time he was surprised. His opponent's strength was also very strong. He was actually able to send him flying? Kid, be careful. The octatic treasure snake isn't simple. At the side, the dark red divine dragon reminded him and also flew over. Seeing the dark red divine dragon, a cold smile appeared in the octatic treasure snake's huge eyes. Damn snake, you actually dare to attack your ancestor? Tui, fuck you. You snake. The dark red divine dragon was enraged. With a roar, its body grew larger. Divine light bloomed, clouds drifted, and lightning surrounded it. He transformed into a divine dragon that was 1,000 feet long. A dragon's roar resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. On the other side, the octatic treasure snake was impacted. Its body trembled, but it was quickly controlled by him. Its huge eyes shone with a terrifying light. Dragons, you're actually a dragon. She was truly shocked, but soon she laughed loudly. Ha, looks like my luck is really good. I actually encountered a dragon. Moreover, it was a dragon with mediocre strength. That's fine too. After eating you, I might be able to evolve again. Its huge body swayed, and its huge body charged toward the dark red divine dragon. The dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claws, bringing with it a storm of thunder to resist. The two huge creatures began to fight. The forest within 1,000,000 miles continuously collapsed. The void shattered. It was a scene of apocalypse. The commotion here attracted a figure in the distance. In the distant forest, Ziyu Hao's expression was grave. After searching for so long, he still hadn't seen the octatic treasure snake. This made him a bit angry. Could it be that the news was wrong? But that shouldn't be. How could the news from the Langia star be wrong? It should be in this forest. It was just that this forest was too huge. It covered the entire world. He couldn't find it at all. And he didn't want to stay in the depths of this forest for too long. After all, the things that had happened before had left him with lingering fear. However, just as he was feeling anxious, a violent tremor suddenly came from the distance. There was even a terrifying roar. That roar caused the blood in his body to boil. What a terrifying aura. Could it be the octatic treasure snake? Thinking of this, Ziyu Hao was incomparably excited. He turned into a stream of light, tore through the void, and quickly flew in the direction of the sound. He flew all the way and finally saw a huge creature with 8 blood-red eyes on its back that flickered with a demonic light. Octatic treasure snake. That's right, it was indeed the octatic treasure snake. This was great, he had finally found it. Ziyu Hao was incomparably excited. But soon he frowned because the octatic treasure snake was fighting, and it seemed that the other party was also very powerful. He looked to the other side and his pupils constricted. He was extremely shocked. It was actually a divine dragon bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws. It soared through the clouds and spewed out thunder that filled the sky as if it was a heavenly tribulation. Could it be a dragon? He didn't know if it was a native dragon of the elven planet or a foreign dragon powerhouse that had descended here. Could it be that his target was also the octatic treasure snake? Ziyu Hao furrowed his brows. This was not good news for him. His expression was cold as he looked around again. Soon he was stunned again. He noticed that there was a figure standing next to the two behemoths. It was a handsome man in a red robe. On his shoulder was a white monkey that looked like a fur ball. It was him. Ziyu Hao quickly exclaimed in a low voice. He recognized it. He had seen this man in red before. He had seen him twice on the Langia planet. He didn't expect that the other party would also come here. Could it be that the other party was in cahoots with this dragon? The other party's target was also the octatic treasure snake? Thinking of this possibility, Ziyu Hao's face turned cold. The octatic treasure snake was very important to him and was even the key to him becoming a saint. He had to obtain it. He would hide first and sneak attack the red-clothed youth below. Then he would hide at the side and watch the battle. When the two beasts were both injured, he would make his move. This way, not only would he be able to obtain the octatic treasure snake, but if he was lucky, he would also be able to kill a dragon. Chapter 3253. Ziyuhao's body became fainter and fainter before completely merging into the void and disappearing. At the same time he pulled out his purple dagger in the dark. In the next moment he turned into a stream of light and flew downwards like a ghost. As a half-step saint, his speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye he arrived below, behind the red-clothed youth. The dagger in his hand carried the power of law as he stabbed forward. Below, Lin Xian stood at the edge of the battlefield and watched the battle. All of his attention was on the battlefield in front of him, because he was really curious about the octatic treasure snake. He didn't know what the 8 eyes on his back were for. Up until now, the magical powers and laws that the octatic treasure snake used had nothing to do with the 8 eyes. Just as he was thinking, a terrifying force suddenly appeared behind him and stabbed towards him. Damn it! Someone was here. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. In the next moment he was sent flying by this huge force. Ah kid, you definitely won't survive after being hit by me. Ziyuhao transformed into his human form and sneered. He was a top genius ranked 10th on the Abyss list. His strength was extremely powerful. Even a veteran half-step saint was not his match, let alone his current strength. With a surprise attack, the other party would definitely be killed with a single slash. Damn it, it's actually you. You actually dare to attack me? In front of him a cold voice came. Immediately after, a red-robed figure walked over. The other party's red robe was shattered, but it quickly recovered. Lin Xian's red robe was condensed from power, so he wasn't afraid of it being shattered at all. How was this possible? He wasn't injured. Seeing that Lin Xian's aura was strong and there wasn't a single drop of blood, Ziyuhao was stunned. Could it be that the other party was wearing a half-step saint artifact battle armor? His expression was ugly. But it shouldn't be. Even if he was wearing battle armor, this attack could cause the other party to suffer internal injuries. It seemed that the other party should have forcefully suppressed the injuries in his body. Thinking of this, he sneered. Kid, I didn't expect you to have a top-grade artifact protecting you. You're really lucky, but unfortunately you met me. Now obediently accept your death and I'll give you a quick death. Otherwise your fate will be very miserable. Ziyuhao snorted coldly as an extremely cold aura emanated from his body. Even though he didn't die from this attack, so what? Even if he were to fight his opponent head-on, he would still be able to kill his opponent. The sneak attack just now was just to kill him in one blow and not cause any unnecessary trouble. To tell you the truth, I'm ranked 10th on the Abyss leaderboard, Ziyuhao. You should have heard of my name, right? Kneel down and accept your death. Ziyuhao shouted, announcing his name and identity in order to intimidate the other party. After all, with the Abyss ranking in purple names, which one of them wasn't a world-shaking peerless powerhouse? If the other party heard this, he would be scared witless. 10th on the Abyss leaderboard? When Lin Xian heard this, he frowned. Seeing Lin Xian's strange expression, Ziyuhao sneered. Brat, are you afraid? If you are, then obediently accept your death. In his opinion, no one would not be afraid of him unless they were ranked higher than him. However, there were only a few people ranked higher than him and he knew most of them. What's more, the aura of those ranked higher than him was terrifying. He could probably recognize them at a glance. Even Lu Mu and Yan Nantian had to retreat in front of me, let alone you. Lin Xian snorted coldly with a hint of disdain in his eyes. What heard this? Ziyuhao, who was in front of him, was stunned. He knew Lu Mu and Yan Nantian. He knew Lu Mu, who was ranked one place higher than him, ranked 9th. Although he had never seen Yan Nantian, he had heard that the other party was the successor of a great emperor, and his strength and talent were very strong. And it was said that he was ranked 4th this time. He had completely surpassed him. In fact, if he calculated it this way, his ranking should not be 10th but 11th. Lu Mu and Yan Nantian were both relatively powerful existences, but what did the other party say? These two people retreated in front of the other party? What a joke. Brat, you really know how to talk big. If it were an ordinary person, they might really be scared by you. But if you want to lie to me, there is no possibility at all. Who do you think you are to be able to beat Lu Mu and Yan Nantian? What a joke. Ziyuhao did not believe it at all. You don't believe it, right? It doesn't matter. I will beat you until you believe it. Lin Xian snorted coldly and quickly rushed to the left. Damn brat, I was careless just now. Now I will take it seriously. You are definitely no match for me. Ziyuhao snorted and took a step forward. The aura on his body suddenly burst out, and a terrifying power filled the entire space. At this moment he seemed to have really turned into a peerless god of war. The short knife in his hand slashed out crazily again. However, this time, Lin Xian's expression was also incomparably dignified. He raised a palm and moved it forward. Suddenly the sky fell and the earth cracked. This palm was like the palm of a deity. It covered the entire space and the purple aura was crushed continuously. Ziyuhao's attack was also quickly split apart under this palm. Not good. Ziyuhao's expression changed greatly. He felt that the other party's palm was like a five-fingered mountain with a terrifying power that could suppress him. If it were an ordinary sage to be, he would probably dodge quickly. But he was ranked 10th on the ranking list. How could he dodge? His glory did not allow him to dodge. With a roar, Ziyuhao held the short knife and faced the attack. The entire space collapsed quickly. Purple aura surged and a terrifying knife light soared into the sky again. It was as if the knife god was roaring. Lin Xian's palm fell mercilessly, carrying the law of fire fragment and mysterious runes. Boom. The entire space shook violently. Ziyuhao was enveloped by this palm. The short knife in his hand was sent flying. Not only that, but his body was also directly slapped to the ground by this palm. Boom. 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 The ground continued to shatter and a huge abyss appeared. Ziyuhao's body fell into the ground. Lin Xian sneered. So what if he was ranked 10th in the abyss? In front of him he was still sent flying by a palm. Damn it, how could this guy be so terrifying? In the distance, the 8 treasures snake, who was fighting with the dark red dragon, felt the power of this palm and its expression changed. It could feel that not only was the power of the law of fire fragment powerful, but this palm was more of the power of the physical body. This guy's physique was actually so strong. He was simply a human-shaped Tyrannosaurus. The 8 treasures snake frowned. If Lin Xian attacked and joined forces with the dark red dragon, then he would really be in danger. Thinking of this, he roared and attacked like a madman. Chapter 3254. Boom. On the other side of the ground, a human figure rushed out. It was Ziyuhao. At this moment, Ziyuhao's entire body was charred black. He was in an abnormally sorry state. To be honest, until now he was still dumbfounded because he did not dare to believe that the other party could actually suppress him with a slap. How was this possible? Who was the other party? How could his strength be so much stronger than his? Damn it. Careless, I must have been careless. Ziyuhao's expression was incomparably ugly. Purple demon heaven shaking steps. Ziyuhao roared angrily. The aura on his body erupted as he took a step forward. Immediately, a mysterious power appeared in the void, causing the entire world to shake. Lin Xian instantly felt that he was enveloped by a mysterious power. His body trembled slightly. The most frightening thing was that his heart was trembling violently as if this step was going to crush his heart. Not only him, the dark red divine dragon and the 8 treasures snake who were fighting at the side also felt it. However, the two of them only felt the aftermath of the energy. Lin Xian was the first to bear the brunt of it. Kid, be careful. This guy is very strange. The dark red divine dragon who was fighting at the side in the distance quickly reminded. The 8 treasures snake was also shocked. Damn it, another human expert had come. However, from the looks of it, these 2 human experts were fighting at this moment. It would be best if both of them were injured and died together. And he only needed to kill the dragon in front of him. Kid, your physique is strong, but what about your internal organs? I don't believe that you can withstand my steps. Ziyuhao's hair was disheveled and his body was covered in blood. He was really angry. So this time he would not let the other party off. He took a few more steps. Immediately Lin Xian's heart rang like a bell. The corners of Ziyuhao's mouth curled up into a smile. This was a kind of great divine ability. Coupled with his law fragments, its power was boundless. His steps could shatter the other party's heart from a distance. The other party's physique was strong, but the other party's heart would definitely not be able to withstand it. Lin Xian also frowned. What a strange divine ability. It could actually affect his heartbeat. Indeed, if it was other half-saints, their hearts would probably have been split open under these steps. They would have vomited blood and died. However, he was different. Harumphing coldly, Zhang Xian drove the great dragon sword soul within his body, and a surge of sword intent tore apart the fearsome attack. Lin Xian's heart calmed down again. I have to say, your divine art is very unique, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on me. Lin Xian was expressionless. Damn it, how is this possible? Ziyuhao's eyes widened in disbelief. Even a veteran half-saint would be injured by his footwork. A weaker half-saint would directly explode and die. But what about the other party? The other party was completely fine. This was simply too unbelievable. Who the hell was this kid? While he was puzzled, Lin Xian understood. Since you've used up your sacred art, then you should have a taste of my sacred art. He stomped his foot and charged forward like a god of war. He formed a seal with his palm, and the image of a mountain appeared. It was a giant flaming mountain that was tens of thousands of feet tall and covered in terrifying laws and flames. As the palm fell, a mountain of flames descended from the sky, as if it wanted to suppress the other party into a bloody mist. Not good. What a terrifying power. Ziyu Hao's expression became extremely ugly. He could only wave the short knife in his hand to block. However, after 10 moves, Ziyu Hao's body exploded, turning into a bloody mist. The half-saint blood filled the air and pierced through the void. Soon his body reassembled. His face was extremely pale, but as soon as he reassembled, he was split apart by a sword. At this moment his entire body was numb. The sword chi that split him was too cold. His body could not completely heal. Although it was reassembled, if one looked carefully they would find cracks in a vacuum. Who are you? Who the hell are you? Ziyu Hao screamed crazily. He was about to despair. The other party was too powerful and had completely surpassed him. Suddenly he remembered what the other party had said before. Lu Mu and Yan Nantian had to retreat when they saw him. Damn it, could it be that this guy is also a top expert on the ranking list? Who are you? Could it be that you are Zhao Wuliang? He screamed crazily. No, Zhao Wuliang was about the same as Yan Nantian. He couldn't go down Yan Nantian. Could it be that you are Long Zhaotian? Long Zhaotian was ranked second. If it was really him, then it might make sense. Moreover, it was rumored that Long Zhaotian was also related to dragons. The kid in front of him had a dragon by his side, so he was more and more convinced that the other party was Long Zhaotian. Heavens, he actually provoked the other party. Long Zhaotian was ranked second on the ranking list, second only to Di Ling. Thinking of this, Ziyu Hao trembled for a while. What Long Zhaotian? I am Lin Wudi. Lin Xian snorted coldly, his eyes bursting with a biting cold light. Not Long Zhaotian? Ziyu Hao was stunned. Why was the name Lin Wudi so unfamiliar? No, he seemed to have heard of it. Where had he heard of it? Ziyu Hao's brain was working very fast. Suddenly, his body trembled and he almost knelt on the ground. It was his Lin Wudi. Recently, on the ancient Starry Sky Road, a piece of news swept like a storm. There was a new change in the Abyss ranking list. A newcomer had climbed to the top and was ranked first, tied with Di Ling. Ziyu Hao remembered that person's name. It seemed to be Lin Wudi. Ziyu Hao's entire body was drenched in cold sweat. He actually provoked the #1 Abyss ranking, and he was still arrogant in front of the other party? He wished he could slap himself to death. So it's young Master Lin. I have eyes but fail to recognize Mount Tai. I hope young Master Lin can forgive me. How about this? I don't want the octatic treasure snake anymore. When I fought with young Master Lin before, I will also take out a certain amount of heaven and earth treasures as compensation. Please spare my life, young Master Lin. Ziyu Hao hurriedly begged for mercy. He had no choice but to lower his head. Otherwise, with the other party's strength, it would be very easy to kill him. When the octatic treasure snake sensed this scene, it was extremely shocked. Its huge eyes flickered with a trace of shock. What was going on? One of the humans was begging for mercy. That was impossible. He sensed that the purple-clothed youth who came later was very terrifying and had a monstrous aura. However, such a person was actually begging for mercy. Could it be that this red-clothed youth was even more terrifying? Thinking of this, his face became incomparably gloomy. Damn it, when did such a terrifying existence come to their elven forest? Could it be that he was here specifically for it? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He didn't say anything, but in the next moment his expression changed. The sword chi on his body soared into the sky and instantly enveloped him. At the same time he said, "Ruffian dragon, retreat quickly." As soon as he finished speaking, the sky collapsed. A green light streaked across and countless ghost faces charged toward them. The dark red dragon instantly roared, and its dragon blood surged. Chapter 3255. Lightning was the bane of evil beings. It should be able to block the ghost face. Sure enough, when the green ghost face landed on Lin Xian's sword chi and the dark red dragon's lightning, it emitted a sizzling sound. It was ruthlessly destroyed and pierced through. On the other side, the octatic treasure snake also spat out a terrifying poison to resist. Ziyu Hao also tried to block, but he was still a step too slow. Among the 4 people present, his strength was the weakest. In an instant he was enveloped by the ghost face. In an instant, the green face entered his body. Ziyu Hao struggled, his expression becoming ferocious. The light in his eyes disappeared, replaced by a wisp of green light. Ziyuhao was controlled, becoming a puppet. "Damn it, it's you!" The octatic treasure snake screamed crazily, its voice piercing through the clouds. It was that thing again. Lin Xian had seen it before. However, at the same time they were even more shocked. Could it be that the octatic treasure snake knew him? Seeing this immortal descend, "You still don't kneel to pay your respects?" An ethereal voice sounded from the void. It was from Ziyuhao's mouth. At this moment, Ziyuhao's entire body was surrounded by green light. He was no longer the young prodigy from before. Very clearly he had been possessed by something. "Damn it, you still haven't given up." The octatic treasure snake was as if facing a great enemy. Its body was surrounded by laws. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon frowned. The dark red dragon even snorted coldly. What immortal? In this world there was no such thing as an immortal. Indeed, even great emperors could not become immortals, so how could there be true immortals? It was only a legend and a wish of people. "Ignorant ant, how could you know of this immortal's existence?" The mutated Ziyuhao snorted coldly. Green light appeared in his eyes. It streaked across the dark red dragon's body, and then stared at the octatic treasure snake. "Have you thought about what I said?" The octatic treasure snake's expression was gloomy. You dare to threaten me with just a clone? You want me to be your clone? Dream on. It seems that you really don't know life from death. If it wasn't for the Eye of Time maturing, do you think you would have lived until now?" What was the Eye of Time? Lin Xian was puzzled. The dark red dragon god's pupils shrank. Could it be that the legend was true? He stared at the octatic treasure snake, his face full of shock. The octatic treasure snake's expression was gloomy and cold. "If it was your true body that came, perhaps you might have succeeded. However, you are just a mere clone. Do you think you can do anything to me? Don't even think about getting my Eye of Time in this lifetime. As for your main body, you probably won't be able to come out for the rest of your life." What immortal? He was just a body of energy trapped by someone else. What was going on? Lin Xian asked with a frown. Before the dark red divine dragon could speak, the mutated Ziyuhao's gaze shrouded the two of them. "And two more ants? Fine, I'll kill the two of them first, then I'll slowly play with you." As he spoke, he waved his hand, and a monstrous light transformed into a storm that swept toward Lin Xian and the dark red divine tornado. "Ruffian Long Long, you continue fighting the octatic treasure snake. Leave this fellow to me." Lin Xian soared into the sky. Sword light revolved around his body, making him look like a sword immortal. Seeing this scene, the dark red divine dragon turned its head and stared at the octatic treasure snake. A trace of disdain appeared in the octatic treasure snake's eyes. What an idiot boy. He actually dared to fight against such an existence? To be honest, he didn't dare to fight against the other party. If it wasn't for the fact that the other party's main body couldn't come out, he probably would have run away long ago. Now, Lin Xian actually wanted to fight against such an existence. In his opinion, he would probably be instantly killed. The mutated Ziyuhao sneered in disdain. "A mere human ant dares to be arrogant in front of me?" With a wave of his hand, a green seal appeared, instantly enveloping Lin Xian. With a boom, Lin Xian was sent flying. Seeing this scene, Ziyuhao coldly snorted. An ant had been dealt with. Next was the other one. He blocked the dark red divine dragon. Just as he was about to move, a voice came from below. "Is this all you have? Is this all you have? You dare to call yourself an immortal? You didn't die?" The mutated Ziyuhao turned his head, revealing a trace of surprise. Below, Lin Xian flew over. His robes fluttered, but he was unscathed. "Interesting. It seems that your physique isn't bad. You're relatively strong even among half-step saints. You can actually block my attack and come out unscathed. However, do you think that you can contend against me like this? You really don't know the meaning of death." As he spoke, he waved his hand. Immediately, 3 seals covered the sky and covered the earth. Lin Xian coldly snorted. The metal law formed a sword of light and slashed down. With a pucci, the 3 seals were split apart. Not only that, the sword of law was split apart by the other party's body. Great, it was split apart. Lin Xian revealed a smile. However, the broken body on the other side quickly reassembled and reappeared in front of him. "I'm an existence that can't be killed. I'm a high and mighty immortal. You're not my match at all." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Xian instantly slashed out 10,000 rays of sword qi, turning the other party into a bloody mist. However, the bloody mist quickly reassembled. The other party looked down condescendingly, sneering at the scene. Just like that, the other party's body was broken more than 10 times. However, each time it quickly reassembled. This made Lin Xian frown. The dark red divine dragon also exclaimed. This was impossible. Even a half-step saint would be injured if his body was continuously broken. Wouldn't his vitality be greatly damaged? How could the other party be unscathed? I've said it before. I'm an immortal existence. The mutated Ziyuhao didn't attack at all. He floated there, allowing Lin Xian to attack him. Every time he was broken, his body would reassemble. This scene made one feel despair. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. An immortal existence? How could this be? How could there be an immortal in this world? Even a great emperor couldn't survive the passage of time. However, the other party's current appearance was indeed surprising. Could it be that the other party had an immortal bloodline? He knew that there were many miraculous physiques in the universe. For example, he and the sage physique both had strong physiques and powerful strength. There was also the Tao physique, which was born with the Tao and could use the laws to great effect. There was also the spirit physique, which could instantly increase one's cultivation. Of course, there was also an immortal body, which was the other party's amazing recovery ability. No matter how serious the injury, it could instantly recover. Lin Xian guessed that the other party might have such a physique. Of course, there was another possibility, which was that the other party's recovery ability was extremely strong. It wasn't because of the bloodline but because of the laws. For example, the North Demon had the wood laws. His recovery ability was extremely shocking and terrifying. Now he also had the wood laws fragment. Coupled with the longevity art, his recovery ability was also extremely strong. Lin Xian guessed countless possibilities in his heart. Although he didn't know which one it was, it all showed that the other party wasn't an immortal. Since he knew this, he was fearless. Was the other party's recovery ability strong? Then he would beat the other party until he couldn't recover. A cold look appeared in his eyes. The dragon sword soul in his body instantly roared and circulated. Chapter 3256. He possessed the great dragon sword soul. Lin Xian once again condensed the sword of law and poured the power of the great dragon sword spirit into it. On the opposite side, when the mutated Ziyuhao saw that Lin Xian still wanted to attack, he suddenly sneered. It's useless. Even if you do it 1,000 times or even 10,000 times, you can't hurt me. His actions towards Lin Xian. He was extremely disdainful. However, in the next moment his expression changed. He discovered that this time around, his shattered body was actually unable to heal. Between his body and his body, there were small cracks that separated Yi's body from the rest of his body. How was this possible? Unable to heal? The mutated Ziyuhao was stunned. Green light burst out from his eyes as he stared at his own body. At the same time, green light blossomed from his body, completely enveloping him. Whoosh! Finally, he forcefully suppressed those cracks and his body healed once again. However, his expression had become somewhat unsightly. At the next moment he screamed. He saw the other party's sword slashing at him, and his body was shattered again. Each piece carried a terrifying sword will, causing him to be unable to heal for a while. Damn it, this is impossible. Who are you? What kind of sword energy is this? How could it be so strange? The mutated Ziyuhao screamed like a madman. He realized that if he wanted to heal his body again, it would be very difficult. He had to erase the sword chi on the cracks, but the sword chi was very strange and difficult to erase. Thus, when he healed the second time, his complexion had already turned pale, and the green light on his body had also become much dimmer. You're just SOSO. What a mortal. In my opinion, you're just a little stronger in terms of regenerative abilities. Other than that, there was nothing special. Lin Xian sneered when he saw this. His sword chi earlier contained the power of the dragon sword spirit, which was why his opponent's body couldn't heal. If this was a real immortal, this bit of power would have been incapable of doing anything to him. At present, however, this immortal was clearly having a very difficult time reassembling himself. This meant that the other party was not an immortal at all. Perhaps he was not even a saint? The other party was at most a half-saint, and only had a vigorous life force. Other than that, there shouldn't be anything else. If it had been any other half-saint, they might not have been able to do anything to Zhang Xian. However, Lin Xian was indeed his nemesis. Damn brat. The mutated Ziyuhao's face was ashen. As for the octatic treasure snake, it was extremely shocked. How could this be? He found it hard to believe that the other party was able to restrain the monster. One must know that when he faced that monster, he was only able to suppress it with his overwhelming power. Even so, he was only able to suppress its clone. Furthermore, even if he were to destroy the clone, it would likely not affect the main body that was hidden in the depths. Thus, the octatic treasure snake was not willing to contend against such a monster. In its opinion, no one could truly restrain it. But now, a human kid seemed to have done it. Damn it, kid, go to hell. The mutated Ziyuhao seemed to have thought of this as well. His opponent's sword chi was very strange and was a threat to him. He would not allow such a person to exist in this world. Thus he had to kill him. A sharp cry sounded out as terrifying rays of light shot towards Lin Xian from all directions. They were densely packed and contained terrifying power. Get lost. Lin Xian coldly shouted. Sword chi erupted from his body, directly piercing through those green ghost faces. Those ghost faces shrieked in the air. As for the mutated Ziyuhao, his expression was extremely ugly. He was unable to get close to his opponent. It seemed that his opponent's sword chi could be released in large quantities. This was definitely not a good thing for him. Since he was unable to attack, he could only attack from afar. Ah! He let out a sharp cry. The countless green ghost faces in the air also let out sharp cries. This was a soul attack. He wanted to use soul attacks to directly destroy his opponent's soul from a distance. Lin Xian coldly snorted. He continued to wave the great dragon sword soul. Terrifying dragon-shaped sword chi swept out in all directions, destroying those soul attacks. Damn it, how was this possible? It could actually destroy soul attacks? The mutated Ziyuhao was extremely shocked. To tell the truth, there were very few things in this world that could restrain him. Furthermore, from his point of view, those things had most likely been lost in the ancient era. How could they exist now? But the current situation made his hair stand on end. Could it be that something had truly appeared that could restrain him? Damn it, eternal annihilation. Ziyuhao did not continue to attack Lin Xian. Instead, he let out a furious roar and soared into the sky. Energy rapidly surged from his body. The terrifying energy grew larger and larger, enveloping a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles. Not good. Seeing this scene, the octatic treasure snake was frightened out of its wits. It hurriedly fled back into the cold pond. Lin Xian also frowned. The dark red dragon cried out in alarm. Damn it, this fellow wanted to self-destruct. Did he not want to live anymore? Lin Xian's expression was grave. This should only be a clone. Even if it died, the main body would not be able to cause much damage. However, the power of this self-destruction was too terrifying. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He did not plan on letting his opponent self-destruct. He had to stop him. With a loud bang, the great dragon sword soul within his body roared crazily. Lin Xian condensed a sword of light in his hand. All sorts of laws gathered on it and he slashed forward. At the same time, the ball of green energy above him exploded, enveloping a radius of tens of millions of miles. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. The dark red dragon also screamed. This was already equivalent to a half-saint self-destructing. Moreover, it had absorbed enough energy to self-destruct. The power was too terrifying. The sword of light in Lin Xian's hand instantly transformed into the shape of a dragon. He roared, "Ruffian dragon, hurry up and help me pour energy into it." The dark red dragon poured all its energy into Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian let out a long roar and poured all his energy into the great dragon sword soul. Then he slashed forward. Boom. Everything within tens of millions of miles was completely destroyed. Countless forests collapsed and the void shattered. It was a scene of apocalypse. Lin Xian and the others were crazily swallowed by this energy. After a very long time, the terrifying energy gradually faded and disappeared. Two figures fell from the void and they spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. Damn it, this energy was too terrifying. Why did it feel like a half-saint self-destructing? The dark red dragon's body was charred black. Dragon blood dripped down and it grimaced in pain. Many cracks also appeared on Lin Xian's body. He circulated the law of wood and the longevity secret art. At the same time he swallowed heavenly treasures. The cracks on his body were quickly healing. With the strength of the 9 yang divine body he survived. At the same time, his eyes were filled with a hint of seriousness. It was too terrifying. Fortunately, he had used the great dragon sword soul to split open the most important energy. Otherwise, that ball of energy would have definitely been a threat to him. No half-saint would have been able to survive. Damn it, what the hell was that thing? The other party's clone was already so powerful. Why was his life force so strong? Chapter 3257. The dark red divine dragon looked around. Endless primal chaos had already appeared in the surroundings, and the cold pool had long disappeared. The octatic treasure snake couldn't have been blasted into a bloody mist, right? Could it be that there was no residue left? The dark red divine dragon was stunned. Then it cursed loudly. Damn it, that's my favorite prey. Forget it, there are many treasures in this elf forest. At most, we'll look for other natural treasures. Lin Xian originally wanted to comfort the dark red divine dragon, but he still glanced around. Suddenly he was slightly stunned. In the next moment he activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and stared below. There was originally a terrifying 10,000-year-old cold pool there. However, at this moment the cold pool had long been reduced to ashes under that energy. In the endless pit there was a huge monster. It was the octatic treasure snake. At this moment the octatic treasure snake was torn into pieces. Blood and internal organs flowed all over the ground. It couldn't be more dead. Even its soul was destroyed by this energy. This shocked Lin Xian again. It seemed that it was really dangerous. Those below the saint realm probably couldn't survive at all. In fact, even saints would be injured in this energy. Fortunately, he had the great dragon sword soul to cut through everything. But soon Lin Xian was stunned again. What was this? He saw a shocking scene. Buzz. With a wave of his hand, an endless storm rushed out and wiped out the primal chaos below. Then the corpse of the octatic treasure snake was revealed. The dark red divine dragon also saw it. He cried out in surprise. Great, I finally found it. He wanted to put away the corpse of the octatic treasure snake, but in the next moment he was also stunned. His eyes were wide open in disbelief. Below, the corpse of the octatic treasure snake was torn into pieces. On the corpse, there was a scarlet eye that slowly rotated. Extremely terrifying patterns appeared in that eye. They were incomparably mysterious. With Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon's current understanding, they couldn't see them clearly at all. However, although they couldn't understand those patterns, they saw a shocking scene. The octatic treasure snake's originally broken body quickly reassembled. In the next moment, his body trembled and a piercing light erupted from his eyes. The aura on his body also suddenly erupted. What's going on? It's alive? How is this possible? Didn't he die before? That's not right. Lin Xian clearly sensed that the other party's soul had already been destroyed. One had to know that if one's physical body was destroyed, one could still be reborn from a drop of blood. If one's soul was injured, one could also use a remnant soul to recover. However, if one's soul was completely destroyed, one would be dead beyond words. In such a situation, even a saint would not be able to revive. But why would this octatic treasure snake come back to life? Could it be related to the red eyes? He stared at the 8 eyes on the octatic treasure snake's back. One of the eyes slowly closed. It was the eye with the mysterious runes flowing around it earlier. It was already completely closed. Now only the 7 eyes were shining. It was still scarlet like a ruby. What was going on? The dark red divine dragon looked as if it had seen a ghost. Damn it, could it be that the legends were true? Impossible, was there really such a divine ability? Ruffian dragon, what do you know? Lin Xian asked. He felt that the dark red divine dragon should know something about the situation. The dark red dragon took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "The Eye of Time. The Eye of Time." What was that? Lin Xian was curious. This was not the first time he heard about it. The green monster from before seemed to be targeting the Eye of Time. Could it be? Was it the 8 eyes on the octatic treasure snake's back? The octatic treasure snake was an ancient beast. It was rumored that the 8 eyes on its back contained the mysterious power of time. The power of time. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Time was the most mysterious thing. Ordinary people could not control it. Even great emperors might not be able to control this power. However, the octatic treasure snake actually had such strange eyes. Could it control this power? Time was indeed the most mysterious thing. As an ancient beast, the octatic treasure snake's 8 eyes were known as the Eye of Time. They could reverse time and return to the past. However, each of the 8 eyes could only be used once. For example, although the octatic treasure snake was already dead, he could use the Eye of Time to reverse time to when it was still alive. In this way, it was equivalent to him being reborn. As for the eye on its back, once it used this power, it would be permanently healed. It would never be able to open again. Even if it was dead, it could still live. This was equivalent to having one more life. Lin Xian was extremely surprised. The octatic treasure snake had 8 eyes on its back. This was equivalent to having 8 more lives. This was too monstrous, right? This was simply an immortal existence. That's right, it was indeed equivalent to having 8 lives. But this power also attracted the attention of powerhouses. Countless years ago, the octatic treasure snake was hunted down by a peerless powerhouse and was finally destroyed. In the myriad worlds, there was no longer an octatic treasure snake. He did not expect to be able to see one here. It seemed that his luck was really good to the extreme to be able to encounter the octatic treasure snake. Could it be that you had the idea of getting the Eye of Time before? Was that Ziyuhao the same as before? Lin Xian asked. The dark red divine dragon shook its head. No, I had the idea of getting the octatic treasure snake because of its bloodline. I think that Ziyuhao was the same. The Eye of Time was too strange. It only existed in legends. In ancient times, the octatic treasure snake had already disappeared. Therefore, no one thought that the things that were passed down were true. Just like immortals, it was just a legend. Therefore, no one would specially look for the octatic treasure snake for the Eye of Time, right? If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe that you really have the Eye of Time and can control the power of time. It seems that you know quite a lot. At this moment, the octatic treasure snake below completely recovered. He raised his huge head and snorted coldly. His cold eyes stared at the dark red divine dragon and Lin Xian. Since you know that I have the Eye of Time, then hurry up and get lost. It's impossible for you to kill me. Indeed, the other party still had 7 eyes of time, which was equivalent to having 7 lives. He was indeed an immortal existence. Boy, do you want to make a move? The dark red divine dragon asked. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a biting cold light. He was definitely going to make a move. Obtaining the Eye of Time was equivalent to obtaining 7 more lives. This was definitely a huge temptation. Not to mention him, those saints would probably go crazy. Even the great emperors would definitely disregard everything and come to kill the octatic treasure snake when they heard this news. Damn it. When the octatic treasure snake heard this, it was instantly enraged. It opened its mouth and spat out poisonous gas that filled the sky. Its entire body turned into a ray of light and instantly tore through the void, heading into the distance. Damn it, don't think about running. The dark red divine dragon slashed out thunder that filled the sky, shattering the poisonous gas. At the same time, it bared its fangs and brandished its claws as it flew out. Chapter 3258. He transmitted his voice. Ruffian dragon, don't kill him. You have to capture him alive. Otherwise, if he uses up the Eye of Time, it'll be useless for us to capture him. I know. But brat, what do you want to do? Even if we trap him, if he goes crazy and destroys the Eye of Time, we won't be able to obtain it. I naturally know. Not only do we have to capture him alive, but we can't let him resist at all. Because if he resists, he'll be able to activate the Eye of Time. Of course, we can't let him die. Because if that happens, the Eye of Time will be activated. Are you saying that if we don't kill him, we'll let his soul live without consciousness? The dark red dragon exclaimed. Could it be that you want to use an eye technique? That's right. Lin Xian nodded. He took a deep breath. Little White, I'll leave it to you later. Yeah, no problem. Just leave it to me. Little White nodded, looking very confident. Lin Xian and the others increased their speed. The dark red dragon directly controlled the laws of clouds and wind, mobilizing the space within a few million miles. A cage was formed around them, blocking their path. The octatic treasure snake went crazy, attacking recklessly. However, it was still blocked for a moment. During this period of time, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon caught up. Little White, go. Before the octatic treasure snake could react, Little White transformed into a streak of light and instantly disappeared. When it reappeared, it was already in front of the octatic treasure snake. Its furry claws slapped the octatic treasure snake's huge head. Bzzz. The octatic treasure snake fainted. It only lasted for 3 seconds, but this was enough for Lin Xian. He could activate his eye technique thousands of times. He formed hand seals, and the heavenly secret divine eye was activated. A pair of golden eyes appeared above his head. They were incomparably cold like a god. The octatic treasure snake couldn't resist the little white monkey's dizziness. The heavenly secret divine eye was mysterious and strange. Under Lin Xian's full power, the octatic treasure snake couldn't resist the eye technique at all. Hence, the octatic treasure snake directly entered an illusion. Lin Xian didn't directly plant a slave imprint. He was afraid that the octatic treasure snake would resist and cause some uncontrollable situation. He let the octatic treasure snake be in the illusion and then slowly guided it, so that he would automatically treat Lin Xian as his master. This process was very slow, but Lin Xian didn't care. Anyway, the other party was in an illusion, and the time inside was not the same as outside. Lin Xian could adjust the environment at will. Next, he got the dark red dragon to set up a few array formations to completely envelop the other party. Then they were sent into the black earth. Now that time was tight, Lin Xian had no way to set it up. Once things settled down, he could set up an illusion array and place the octatic treasure snake inside. Or periodically he would use his eye technique on the octatic treasure snake. In short, as long as the octatic treasure snake continued to sleep like this. Lin Xian released the octatic treasure snake for the time being and took a deep breath. Kid, where are we going next? The dark red divine dragon asked. To find the mysterious green monster. You want to find that guy? No way, that was too risky. Weren't we going to look for the Wood Dao stone? That's right, it was in that guy's hands. Previously, when Lin Xian used his eye technique on the octatic treasure snake, he had discovered some information from the other party's soul. Among them, it was related to the mysterious green monster. After all, that monster was too terrifying. Even the octatic treasure snake was afraid of it. Therefore, the information about the green monster in the other party's soul was very obvious. Lin Xian instantly captured it. From the information, he learned that the green monster had a Wood Dao stone in its hands. In addition, the other party's origin was mysterious. That was why it had such a vigorous life force and was almost immortal. Since he knew that the Wood Dao stone was in the other party's hands, Lin Xian had no reason not to go. Moreover, although the other party was powerful, his great dragon sword spirit could restrain the other party. Therefore, Lin Xian wasn't afraid of the other party at all. The Wood Dao stone was actually in the other party's hands. When the dark red divine dragon heard this, it was also extremely surprised. Since that was the case, what were they waiting for? Let's hurry up and go. Lin Xian and the others quickly flew deeper into the forest. 3 days later, the three of them stopped. Lin Xian frowned. He looked around with his heavenly secret god eyes. It was right ahead. Lin Xian said. The dark red divine dragon held its breath, and Whitey also quieted down for a rare moment. Who was it? Lin Xian and the others had already arrived in front of them. They let out a low and hoarse voice. Instantly, countless terrifying rays of light appeared around them. The surrounding trees seemed to have come to life and attacked Lin Xian and the others. With a boom, the dark red divine dragon's body swayed. Endless thunder pierced through all the tree demons, forming a vacuum. The ground was charred black. Lin Xian walked forward. There was no forest blocking the way ahead. There was a ball of green light floating in the air, constantly changing into various forms. Damn it, it's you? You're actually not dead. In front of them, the ball of green light let out a sharp roar. It was too shocking. Impossible. The self-destruction of his clone was enough to destroy any half-saint below the saint realm. How could the other party survive? It seems that you don't know everything. There are some things that you can't know at all. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The other party didn't even know why he was alive. It couldn't be. He ignored the other party and looked around. Because of the conversation between the octatic treasure snake and the other party, he knew that the other party's main body seemed to be unable to come out. It could only be in the depths. What was the reason? He had to figure it out. Soon he narrowed his eyes because he seemed to have seen through it. The dark red divine dragon also said that there was a peerless formation around them that suppressed everything. It was probably specially targeted at the other party. We can come in, but the other party probably can't get out at all. Lin Xian nodded and raised his head to look at the green ball of light that was still shrieking in shock in front of him. Hand over the Dao Stone of Wood, and I can spare your life. What? You're here for the Dao Stone of Wood? The green ball of light was stunned. Then it screamed, Damn brat, how dare you have designs on me? How despicable. The green light kept changing. Then it turned into a green-robed man. The green-robed man's face was pale and his eyes were cold. They were like the eyes of a venomous snake as he stared at Lin Xian. After he appeared, he gave off a powerful aura. Go to hell. The palm emitted a terrifying aura and instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian, wanting to suppress him. Lin Xian sneered. Sword chi surged on his body and poured into the power of the great dragon sword soul. He slashed out and immediately split the other party's palm. It's useless. I can restrain you. Your attack can't pose any threat to me at all. In fact, if I want to kill you, it won't be difficult. Lin Xian's voice caused the green-robed man's expression to turn incomparably cold. Brat, do you think I'm so easy to kill? You don't understand my methods at all, ignorant ant. Next, I'll let you know the consequences of provoking me. Chapter 3259. Buzz. The green bell began to ring, and a terrifying sound spread in all directions. The dark red dragon's body trembled, and countless cracks appeared on its body. Even Lin Xian's body was the same. Cracks appeared. But soon Lin Xian roared, and endless light erupted from his body to repair the cracks. The dark red dragon screamed, "Damn it, it's so terrifying. How can the two of you be a match for me?" The green-robed man laughed. He would attack the bell in his hand. Suddenly, a terrifying shattering sound came from the void where Lin Xian and the dark red dragon were. "Damn it, what kind of weapon is that? Why does it feel like a sacred artifact?" The dark red dragon was frightened, and it struck out a sky full of nomological laws to resist the attack. Lin Xian's face was gloomy, and a piercing cold light burst out from his eyes, enveloping the entire space. With his eye technique he could clearly see the traces of every attack. In the face of such a terrifying attack he did not dodge. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared, and countless sword chi rushed out, accompanied by the power of the nomological laws, slashing forward. Green Lotus 13 swords. 13 sword chi streaked across the sky, and terrifying nomological law fragments spread out. A huge flower of sword chi shrouded the entire space, cutting off the void. There was a violent collision in the space, and the green bell's attack all collided with the sword chi lotus. The sword chi lotus also erupted with dazzling sword chi, and the two collided in the air, erupting with an unparalleled light. Buzz. At the same time, the dark red dragon came to the side of the green-robed man, and as it waved its dragon claws, countless thunder condensed, and its claws pierced through the green-robed man's body. Boom. More than half of the green-robed man's body was shattered. However, it instantly recovered to its original state. At the same time, he struck out with his palm, forcing the dark red dragon to retreat. "It's useless. I've said it before, I'm immortal and you can't hurt me at all." The green-robed man's eyes were filled with disdain. "Damn it, what a strong recovery ability." The dark red dragon's face was gloomy. At this moment Lin Xian said, "Ruffian dragon, let me attack. You restrain him." "Okay. This emperor understands." The dark red divine dragon nodded. He knew that Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul could restrain his opponent. The dark red dragon continued to roll, and the clouds in the sky condensed, bringing with them terrifying nomological laws. They surged forward and even formed an array formation around them. It was a wind-thunder array. This formation was mainly used to restrain the enemy. The green-robed man sensed that his surroundings were filled with fog. A formation had enveloped him, cutting off all his escape routes. It was so much so that the terrifying thunder seemed to want to tear him to pieces. Formations, I hate formations the most. The green-robed man's face was cold, and a terrifying green light rose from his body. It turned into a large green palm and grabbed forward. This palm was very terrifying. With a crushing force, it blasted onto the wind and thunder array. The formation shook violently, cracks appearing on its surface. "Damn it, this guy's strength is so terrifying, and his research on array formations is so profound." The dark red divine dragon frowned. He could tell that this palm strike wasn't done casually. Instead, it had struck the weakest point of his array formation. From the looks of it, he had found the flaw in an instant. This was an array formation expert. The dark red divine dragon was shocked, but he soon understood. This green bubble man must have been studying array formations for thousands of years in order to escape. His attainments in array formations must be very strong. His guess was right. This green-robed man was trapped here by a peerless array formation, and he wanted to get out for the rest of his life. Therefore he had been studying and breaking this array formation for countless years. His attainments in array formations were terrifying. At this moment he had almost shattered the wind and thunder array set up by the dark red divine dragon. However, the wind and thunder array wasn't the main attack. His goal was to restrain and even confuse the enemy. In a corner of the array formation, a figure rushed over and a terrifying sword light pierced forward. This person was Lin Xian. At this moment, sword chi revolved around Lin Xian's hand, swallowing a terrifying power. In an instant he arrived in front of the green-robed man. "Scram!" The green-robed man shouted coldly. He didn't take it head-on. Instead, he activated the green bell beside him and blasted it forward. It seemed that he wanted to blast Lin Xian away. Boom. The two collided and a piercing light burst out. The green bell blocked the sword. "Kid, it's useless. You can't hurt me at all." Seeing this, the green-robed man's lips curled into a cold smile. So what if the other party was powerful? He used a Dharma treasure. He didn't need to do anything to stop the other party. Is that so? Do you think you're saved? Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. Although the other party blocked his sword, the distance was too close. Could the other party block all of his sword chi? Boom. The energy in his body exploded, forming a monstrous force that covered the area in front of him. The bell was also shaking non-stop, shooting out rays of light that filled the sky in an attempt to block the attack. Although the bell was powerful, Lin Xian's sword chi was even more terrifying. Its attack power was unparalleled. Therefore, although a small part of the sword chi was blocked, there was still a lot of sword chi that pierced through the bell's attack and arrived in front of the green-robed man. The green-robed man was shocked, and his face was filled with fear. Cold wind. His sleeves rolled up countless green rays of light, forming a light screen in front of him. However, his light screen was soon pierced through. Not good. The green-robed man's pupils constricted, and his body swayed, turning into an illusion. Lin Xian's sword chi was too much. Although he dodged some, he couldn't dodge all of them. At the critical moment, the green-robed man could only defend himself again. Boom. He was hit by countless sword chi and was sent flying. This is great. The dark red divine dragon revealed a smile. The green-robed man was sent flying, but soon he landed on the ground and was bounced back. The surrounding array formation isolated him, making it impossible for him to get out. The green-robed man who was bounced back had his chi and blood in turmoil, and his expression was ugly. He was sent flying by the other party. Damn it. How dare you injure this immortal? This immortal will kill you. The green-robed man walked over, gritting his teeth. The murderous aura around him was astonishing. At that moment, the surrounding void quickly shattered. It was obvious that the other party was really angry. Lin Xian attacked again. In the sky, 36,000 rays of sword chi quickly rushed into the sky, forming a huge sword chi lotus that rotated above Lin Xian's head. Countless light swords flew out from it, piercing through the void with the power of laws. Countless law light swords pierced forward, forming a sword domain that enveloped the other party again. These light swords were too terrifying. They contained the power of the great dragon sword soul and the power of law fragments. They contained the law of metal and were extremely sharp. They contained the law of fire and were extremely violent. The law of earth was heavy and seemed to be able to shatter everything. The law of water, on the other hand, was incomparably bizarre and pervasive. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.